In this week's episode, we've got another returning guest, also making their third appearance on the podcast, Michael Jenkins. Now, if you haven't listened to Mike's other podcasts, we always take a really deep dive into why he does what he does, and we have some really deep conversations, me and Mike. I don't know what it is about each other where we just click and we just have these really, like I said, deep conversations, and to capture it and be able to share it all with you guys is incredible. So stick around, listen to what Mike has to say this time, going deeper into his past and why he runs in the first place. Welcome back to the Adventure Athletes podcast.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, I was going to say, you was meant to be the first person to have 3 episodes, but you're not.
Was I didn't know I was meant to be. Was that a thing?
That was the thing.
Oh no! If someone jumped,
Terry.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Terry's now got 3, and you were going to be the first person, because you was the first person to have 2 episodes.
Okay.
You was in line to be the first person to have 3, but that didn't happen because we had to push it back a bit. And then I forgot that I'd already done 2 with Terry. I thought I'd only done 1 with Terry.
If I could come second to anyone, it would be the biggest knob in Wales, wouldn't it? And he knows what I mean by that.
Yeah. And if you've listened to the last podcast, you know what we mean by that.
No longer the biggest knob in the world, but I'm sure it's the biggest knob in Wales.
It is the biggest knob.
That's a good
in
accolade
the UK.
And the UK.
So.
See.
Yeah.
Class. When you had the episode on, when I listened to the episode last week, and you're like, you should do the route. I think it's a great idea. That'd be a great event, wouldn't it? Like a race. Do you imagine that?
That would be class.
It would be fucking brilliant. Also, like 70 odd miles, really tough in the Black Mountains, savage in terms of like the distance and the elevation. I think it would be a cracking race, wouldn't it? It'd get loads of media attention as well. Maybe it should be a Rockman race.
Rockman race.
Rockman
the first ever Rockman race.
Yeah.
Biggest cock and balls in Wales.
The Rockman Cockman. The Cockman 75.
Oh, come on, Terry. If you don't do this, mate, I'm going to be disappointed. You've got to do it now.
I want some royalties for that name. It's like
Cocodona,
yeah.
Cocodona.
Do you see, obviously Cocodona was this week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been watching like the stream, and I was just in awe watching the stream and watching people's videos online, and Andrew Glaze and Eli Weeby. They're just like, I don't really look up to like elite runners. I like normal people, and I follow Andrew Glaze. I think I spoke him on episode 1, and his videos sharing the real like experience going through like something like a 250 mile race is so inspiring, and I'm like, these guys are just bonkers really, and they for doing these, and I'm like, shit, that's what I'm doing in a couple of weeks. So I think I had that realization this week looking at Cocodona, thinking it's pretty similar really, innit? So fucking bring that on, mate.
Exciting. I'm gonna say something a bit controversial here. I really don't watch things like that. I don't follow. I really struggle to keep up with different sports and things like that, because I can't sit and watch stuff. I'm not interested. Like when I was coaching gymnastics, everyone was like, "Oh, are you gonna watch the Olympics?" And I'm like, no I'm not. Never watch the Olympics. I'm not gonna start now. Like when I was competing in all these different sports, the only one that I did watch was free running, because there'd be like YouTube edits.
Yeah,
it's not like you're sitting there watching a sport. It's like you're watching like a piece of content that someone's made, and it's like flashy and exciting, and I love that. But just watching a sport and like dot watching, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I hate dot watching.
When I say I was watching it, I don't mean I was there like watching them run around the trail. Yeah, I watched the stream for about an hour, I think, on day 1 or day 2. More catching up on like their Instagram stories and stuff like that, because they show you those real cool snippets.
I just really struggle with it all. I just can't get behind it personally. I see why people do, but I'm just like...
Also, I think it's Eli Webb or Eli Weeby. He's like the coolest motherfucker on this planet. Honest to God.
I don't even know who you're
wait, you're gonna follow him after this podcast, right? He's just lost his dad, so he has a little key ring on his pack with a photo of his dad on his chest.
Yeah.
And like he just DNF'd that 300-mile race in Arizona a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now he's gone to Cocodona and put those wrongs right. But when you just look at him, he doesn't look like the typical ultra runner. He's got like this. Yeah, ironically, I was going to say he's got beautiful hair for a man. He's just had it all shaved off. But before that, he had long curly hair, shitloads of tattoos. You just know, like, if he was out, that every single woman would be drawn to him. He's just cool. It's just like a badass. So I really like him. But yeah, like, it's not for everyone watching these things, and I don't get caught up in a lot of the elite side of things, because they're not elite runners. They're just relatively normal people. Like Andrew Glaze, he's a fireman by day, and he does 100-mile weeks every week. I think he's been doing that for years now.
See, I follow him, but funnily enough, George sent me one of his reels earlier and was like, I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
And then my response back to George, links back to you, is I was like, yeah, he's class. Too positive for me.
You did mention me last week as well around this again, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's nice having a shout out on a podcast, but you've just been slagging me off loads lately, so I've got some beef with you today. Nah, that's fine.
Is it because I've been dropping you on all the hills?
It's because you dropped me on my little training fun runs.
The thing is, like, when you messaged me that, I could not stop laughing, because I know that in my head I wasn't meaning it as in, like, I absolutely like thrashed you and that, but it was just the fact that, because we was chatting about heart rates and stuff, and you was like, oh yeah, my heart rate's this, and I was like, oh, mine's still like pretty low, and I felt really good about myself, because I know how much elevation you do, and for me in my head I was like, my training's working. It wasn't that I'm like, shit, I'm better than Jenks.
No,
but like, that's how it does come across.
I did laugh because I do a lot of elevation. I don't run the most miles out of anyone. There's loads of people I know that run a lot more than me. But pound for pound, I do a lot of climbing. So I think I do like 130 feet per mile now. And I live on Barry Island, which is flat. Which is, for me, it's good because it forces me to get out of my town and go and explore. And my heat map now is looking pretty sexy versus last year, if I'm honest. And you mentioned it before on your podcast. I think it was with Terry, actually, around... You got this thing now, you want to go and bag trigs, and it's forcing you to go around the valleys, which is what I've been doing the last year, and yeah. So I will always struggle on hills. I don't care how fit I am. Hills are hills, aren't they? And but I will never shirk away. I go searching for hills. I search for it. I go out for runs. If I see it,
solid on a hill, mate.
Man see hill, man run hill. That's my thing now. So if I'm running in Barry on a road, and there's a hill to my left, I just go up the hill and back down. I don't plan it, I just do it. And it's because I know what's coming. You know, I've been there before now with Epona last year and some of the bigger mountain races. Is if you shirk away from hills, you're just going to do yourself a disservice when it comes to doing the big stuff. So, and ultimately, I think it makes you a better runner anyway. And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm not great at is descending. I'm much better than I was. I've done a lot of work, but descending is still a problem for me versus going up. I know we spoke about Epona in the last episode, but I'll briefly go back. It was mile 102, and I had Sugarloaf left to do. Now, if you know Sugarloaf, it's not straightforward. Like, it's pretty tasty, spicy climb. And I was loving life going up there. I knew I was on my way to get the buckle. Got to the top, had a bit of a cry. It was a bit emotional because I knew I was coming to the end of the race. And as I was descending, I was crying for the wrong reasons because I was in so much pain. So, but you've got to do it in the training, haven't you? You know what it's like. You've got to get the vert in, because what's about to come is going to be pretty harsh, I think, with Wildhorse. So, talking over 30,000 feet, which is Everest plus more from sea level, which is mind-boggling when you think about it. When I've mentioned that to people, I think that's worse than the distance. I think just the sheer amount of climbing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've been saying this about when I did my back-to-back 50Ks, where I did like the Saturday running with Harry, Sunday doing the big moose with my clients and stuff, and everyone's like, you've just done like 105k in a weekend. Like, you must be like really ready for your 6 and 6. And I'm like, distance wise, feeling pretty good, because I was fine after that. Like, I did that fast 5k, like we said. But then I was like, they were both really flat. Like I think along both the days, I think I did like 250 meters elevation across 100k. I'm like, that's nothing. Like I'm gonna be doing 10 times that pretty much every day at least. So I'm like, yeah, no.
I'm trying to think of the elevation now. I can work it out quickly for you if you want. Do you know the elevation? What you're doing?
It's 9,000 meters roughly.
Okay.
I'll be doing across the week. So,
Spicy.
and like the first day, as you know, Canham, flat.
Yeah, it's about 1,000 feet in total. Because you have the little locks occasionally. Yeah. So, and it's no elevation, it feels flat, but over 40 odd miles, they all add up. So yeah. Like, I think when I did, I had 900 feet, something like that. So 300 meters, whatever, in your language. So, and then you've got Howham, which is 4,500 feet, just over 1,000, probably about 1,400, 1,500 meters, I think. 1,300
I've got
meters.
It all on a spreadsheet somewhere.
That one's quite a rewarding one because you climb for 16 miles and then 14 miles pretty much just down it. You got the occasional little bumps in the road, but that one's a great one, and it was obviously only last weekend that we had that race, and I've booked on again already for next year, because I don't think I'll never not do that race. I just love it, because it's something special, I think, about the area and stuff, and the trails. It's beautiful. There's a lot of asphalt and gravel and fire road, which I know some people are not massively keen on, but I think with the Howham you get a nice blend of everything. It's like perfect. But that Clou Dog res is just like mind blowing. It's so beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places in this country.
Joe's had the opposite opinion of pretty much everything that like everyone else has said, because she's like loved the Canham, hated Howham, and I'm like, oh. Okay. She
said she crossed the line, and I think they were 10 minutes in front of me, Joe and the boys. I crossed the line.
The Slog Squad.
Yeah, the Slog Squad. Shout out they're a great bunch of guys. And then I spoke to Joe, and she's like, "Oh, that wasn't my favourite." I was surprised. I thought because I love her, I think everyone else is going to love it. But I'm a little bit like her. I retrospectively loved the Canham.
I think I'll quite like the Canham because I'll be able to go quite quick, I reckon.
Yeah.
But I love a fire road. I love running fire roads. So like I think Howham's going to be up there for me.
Yeah.
So
I think the hardest thing is the two tough things with Howham towards the end of the race, mile 20 to 24 to 26. There's this long country road, and it's just never. And it's one of those straight ones where you can just see, and you're like, I know I've got a couple of miles just straight up there. And just after checkpoint 1, you've got like this camber, which is really odd on your legs, but you're climbing really steep as well as like on an angle. And I kind of wished I just went up and across instead of going diagonal, because it puts a lot of strain on you. But it was alright in the end. But that's quite a challenge. Then you got the Vogum, which is obviously my home race. The brutal thing about Vogum generally is it's always at a relatively hot time of the year. You get this right hand side tan because you're just on the coastal path with no shade. But it's that difference between a 50k and 30 miles and 40 miles. That extra 10 miles, that's where ultras really start to like impact you in your brain. I think up to 50k now, like a 50k for me now, and this is not an arrogant thing. I like enjoy them. I just think they're nice.
Yeah.
They've become quite nice days out for me. But a lot of that is I have to tell myself that because I'm doing the bigger stuff now. If I start thinking they're hard days, like how the fuck am I going to get through this 200 miler? So you've got to tell yourself, it's quite a nice day. And do you know what? When you tell yourself that, 9 times out of 10, it's a nice day. It really is. So Vogum is a bit tough because you hit that 50k, 30 mile mark, and it's like, I've still got to slog it for 10 miles. And it's generally pretty warm that time of year. But you're going to have it warm through the whole week, possibly, in you. And then the Pigham. So this is where the story starts for us today, because I've spoke to you about Pona, and then I haven't spoken to you since, and obviously
so that's where we left off.
Yeah, so we should restart the podcast right now. Right? So, hi Mike, welcome back. So, so after Pona, I'm not going to go into. There's a whole fucking episode on Epona. I'm not going to speak too much about that. Best weekend ever, by the way. Was the Pigham. And obviously, when I was on your podcast a few days after Epona, I was speaking like this, and I was like fucking so tired, and I really was. I think what I didn't expect from the 100-mile experience was just how tired I was for months. And it's impacted my life in so many. It was actually life changing in a lot of ways. Nothing more life changing than probably the prom, which we'll come on to. Be your favourite subject, the prom 100.
Kat's gonna be loving this.
Yeah, people slagging me off speaking about my achievements. They say you never meet a hater doing more than you, don't they? That's what they say. So I'll use that one. Pigham was interesting. So obviously I remember speaking to you and I was worried because my knee was like swollen and stuff. But I managed to get through Pigham, and I think I did really well time wise and stuff. Not long, over 6 hours, which was I didn't know where that came from, because my knee was in agony. And the start of the Pigham, you go straight up the Blowinge, and it's just straight 5,000 foot climb straight off the bat, right? So you got that to come, and loads of people love the Blowinge, and I'm like Joe. Do you know Joe said she didn't really like How much? I fucking hate the Blowinge. Just hate it. I like the bit with the lake, which you'll see halfway up, but I don't like the summit. It's too rocky. I just don't enjoy it. But get it done. But the end of that race is brilliant. You do Sugarloaf from the back end than you normally would, and it's brilliant. It's a nice climb. So that was good. Enjoyed that. And then what do we have? Oh, it's the Edam. Now, pound for pound, Edam was harder than Epona for me. I'm gonna put it out there. It was. It might have just been the day. So I'd done my usual stupid tactic of going off too quick. I'll just do it purposely now because it's just funny, because everyone knows he's gonna go off too quick. I'm like, yes, 100%. I'm gonna go balls out and then bonk by mile 3. So me and John went off. No one knew where to go at the beginning of the race, so I had loads of pressure on me. I was nabbing the whole group. It was like 150 people. So
I'm so glad I'm doing that with everyone.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm worried about. So.
Oh, you'd be fine. You'd be absolutely fine. We like to over exaggerate things in ultra running, don't we? We like to make them worse than they actually are. This one was close mind. It's as bad as I'm going to describe it. And then I think I lasted about a mile and a half. I looked at my heart rate. It was like fucking 175, 180. Like I felt alright, and then we're just climbing up through this lane, and it was really steep gradient, and I'm still running now, and I'm like, I should be walking. It's 50 miles today, or 52 on plan. It's going to be a hot day, and people just started coming past me then. Anyway, so I eased off then, and I was being sensible, and then I think it was about mile 21. I caught up with John, and John had a bit like me really. He was just having not a great day, so we ended up just running together. And I tell you what, we just had such a fucking hard day. I don't think we overtook anyone. We just got passed by everyone that day. So shout out to John, because that was a difficult one. I think at one point we made our own checkpoint in the middle of this field. We went the wrong way. We called it checkpoint 3.5. We sat back to back and just fucking ate watermelon for about 10 minutes, just questioning our life choices, like why we were doing it. And then I sort of picked up towards the end, and we got into the finish before the dark, thank God, because there was people out there, I think they finished like the next morning, so they would have done a night. And I just got so much respect for them, because I would have hated it. And if you said to me at that finish, turn around and go back to make that 100 miles, I would be like, nah, there's no way. So that's a difficult one. But on the flip side, you really earn your medal in the Edam, I think, because you've definitely earned it that day. And then you finish with the Riddim. And you did the Riddim, didn't you, with me? Yep. Which was amazing. And you did it in a fucking cast, because you are Billy Beacon, and this is what you do.
Billy Beacon. That's such a class nickname. I'm so I'm happy with that nickname. Billy Beacon. Yeah.
So Will's got a new nickname that we made up at the Punks the other night. Billy Beacon.
Yeah.
And it just fits nicely with you, doesn't it? You ran that day in a cast because you'd recently obviously ruptured a bicep.
Yeah, so I tore my bicep.
Yeah.
So I was in a sling. Still got the sling. I just bought it because I didn't go to hospital or anything. My physio checked out my bicep like a week later and was like, yeah, like that's gone. So it was like half hanging off the bone.
You're an animal.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I've got a ultra marathon next weekend. Still alright to do that? She was like, I would get it strapped up because you're not going to be able to hold your arm up for running, especially balancing, doing trails. And she was like, but I know what you're like, so like, do it, be careful, take it easy.
Don't fall over.
Don't fall over. That was one of the bits of advice.
What did you do?
Oh, mate, just, I don't know.
Did you fall over?
No.
Next to me?
No.
After giving it the big one?
Yeah, I didn't shout full send and then go for a paddle and stack it onto my torn bicep.
Yeah, so for anyone listening, we were at this particular time in the ultra, you'd caught up with me, didn't you?
So I spent 7 miles trying to catch you from the start. 7 miles. And then I caught you just before checkpoint 2.
And I was all jolly and happy, and you were in a box.
Blowing out my arse.
Yeah.
And then I was like, right, no, I'm going to stick with him now. And I stuck pretty close behind you till checkpoint 2. You stopped off very briefly at checkpoint 2. And I came in, and you were going out as I came in. So I just had one slice of watermelon. And then I was like, right, I've seen him leave. I'm going to catch him. And I caught you like pretty much straight away. Giant puddle. And my feet were already wet by this point. It was September.
They should have called it the puddum, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I just went, I was trying to get your attention, and I was like, full send, like through the puddle. And there was one of those where like the right side is higher than the left side, like it drastically drops. And I started running on the right side, and then my foot just went in the puddle, like in the deep bit, and I just stacked it.
But you styled it out, and you didn't hurt your arm, did you?
I landed directly on that arm.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow, you hit that
I hit that arm, rolled.
You're obviously very stoic around that fall. But I think just before you fell, we were talking about how good you are at descending. This is where it was funny.
Because you keep saying it was a descent. It wasn't. We was going uphill.
No, but we were talking about how good you're at descending, and that you don't fall over because you're confident. Where obviously back... I can't remember if it was before or after the first... episode I did with you. I broke my hand in 3 places.
After the first one.
That was after. Yeah. Okay, so after the first episode, I was coming down Creek Mawr in the Black Mountains, and John was about 100 metres ahead, and he'd slid across this like waterlogged bit of grass. We weren't even on the descent, this was on the flat, and then it was me and Gemma. Gemma was like a metre behind me, and I was like, well, John's just slipped in here, be careful. But because I went through that patch really carefully, my heel just came up and I just landed and I felt a crunch. Now, Gemma was so close behind me, she had like mud bukkake, right? That's the only way to describe it. That's really wrong, right? But after seeing Hannah's episode, I think anything goes now.
Anything goes
on this
on the
fucking
podcast.
On this casting couch, I mean. She was just like splattered. Like, I didn't have an ounce of mud on me, but I had a fucking broken hand. Anyway, yeah, that was... That kind of knocked my confidence back in, I think it was March. And then we had the Canham obviously in April. But it's taken me a while to get my confidence back, because once you've got that, I broke a bone doing that, you kind of, you ease off a little bit, where you've got so much like confidence going down. I think a lot of it as well was my footwear. I think I've always worn like speed guts for the last few years. And the last model that they had, they're just generally shit in mud. Maybe I shouldn't wear them, but I do because they're comfortable. Now the 6s I got now, they're much better, so I'm not falling as much. Or if I am falling, I'm catching it. But the confidence is definitely coming back. Yeah. Good. Oh yeah, go back to the rhythm. Love the rhythm.
Great route.
Yeah, it's a great route. We didn't really have many views on the day, did we? Because it was really grey and cloudy. I say they should have called it the Puddum. There's this like bog of doom in there, which is about 22 miles in. And Daz, the photographer, he wasn't really giving anyone the warning. The first bog was fine, and that's the traditional one that everyone kind of falls in. It was the one just after, and the amount of people who went like hip deep into that bog. You didn't fall in that bog, no?
No, I went straight through it. You have to go through the middle.
I went around this like the second bit, because the guy in front of me, I can't remember who it was, he fell into it, and I was like, well, I ain't going in that bit, obviously, so I went around it. But
you got to catch it right, because like the more you try and go around it, like you got lucky, because the more you try and go around it, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
Because I used to live round that way, didn't I? So
yeah, you weren't far at all, were you?
That I used to just go and recce that bit. I recce'd that bit about 4 times, and I'm like, yeah, no, you just go straight through the bog.
No, that makes sense.
So, but like the best part still goes like shin deep.
Yeah.
So, just go for it.
Yeah. I love that. So I recommend the Rhythm as probably like a great first ultra. I think loads of punks are doing it this year, which is good.
Yeah.
Loads of She Runs Cardiff do that as well, because it's quite a local race. So that's a really good one. And then obviously I had the Pegasus Slam trophy that Owain makes, which is beautiful, which is up next to my telly now with my medals in, and I've got my buckle on the front of it from opponent as well. So it was a really great year. Since the second episode, it's been great. And then obviously just before the Rhythm, I come up with this idea of running 100 miles up and down the Prom at Barry Island, because I was looking at my fundraising for Big Moose, and obviously I had therapy last year, and I went for free therapy, can't say it, and I thought, I haven't really raised that much money, what can I do to kind of give my fundraising a little bit more energy behind it? And then I was speaking to John via text. I was like, John, I'm thinking of just doing like, I don't know, like 100 miles up and down the Prom. And he was like, nah, fuck that, I ain't doing that. And because I said it out loud, and I said this on episode 1, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. But like the 496 one we said, where I said I was going to turn up to meet you, and I did. And I'm one of those people that if I say I'm going to do something, you're exactly the same as me, mind, is you'll go and do it. And I said it out loud, and I was thinking, shit, I fucking said this thing now. Now I've got to go and run 100 miles up and down the Prom. One, am I a fucking idiot? Or two, is this genius? Is this going to raise more money? I think the latter. I think a bit of both, to be honest. But it was a crazy event, because I had so many people come and turn up, and I was speechless after it, because I struggled in my life to kind of get that, what's the word, like feeling part of a community, or
like that belonging.
Yeah, and I know we spoke last year, and I was like, I found my tribe and I made loads of friends, but to have that amount of people come and run, I think it was 71 people.
Yeah.
That was just the people who ran. People came down who didn't run and just came down to speak to me. Ended up wasting loads of time at the checkpoint just chatting, which was good, but I was like, I need to get moving. Like, I can't keep stopping every lap. So the lap was like 0.37 miles a length, or 580 meters, right? And obviously one lap is there and then back. So I ended up doing like 312 lengths of the Prom over that. I started on the Friday afternoon, finished on the Saturday, and it was just mind blowing. But I tell you what, it was fucking tough. Running, like, I hate road running. I've explained before. I used to love it. I hate it now. It's essentially a 100-mile road run. That's all you can describe it as. It's really hard surface. I wore bloody road super shoes, like with carbon things in, because they were really soft. I think Adidas Adios 3s. That was a game changer. Like, these road runners, they're all cheaters these days, I'm telling you. Because if I had to do that in the shoes I used to wear when I was a road runner fucking back 8 years ago, that would have wrecked my feet. But I didn't have any blisters or anything. And yeah, a lot of that was down to the shoe trace. It was a fucking great idea. So big up Adidas and Adios 3s. They got me through 100 miles. I would never broke my ankle on them, mind you, because there's no stability in your ankles at all. But there's a few people I have to thank, and I want to thank them on this if that's all right. Marco's calf. and specifically Nino, Marco's son, who let me use Marco's calf as the checkpoint, the aid station, and kindly coming down in the evening, opening up and making everyone teas and stuff like that. You were a massive help, so thank you. Because generally, I say you can't do it without them. I wouldn't, because it gave me a safe space to have a little checkpoint, which was good. And it made my lap was perfect, because then he was going back and forth from his calf. Laurie, so in terms of like running support, I can't sit here and name 71 people, so sorry, but Laurie, she come around 33 miles from me. Well, like what a friend, you know. Why, like, if you're doing an event and you're going to run an ultra, because that's what she did, then it's fair enough, you get a medal and stuff, but like she didn't have to do that. She did the overnight session with me as well, so I'll always be grateful for that, because the night was really tough. Like, night running is so different to days, right? Regardless of fatigue, it's cold, all the lights went off at 12 o'clock, so it was pitch black. There was some beauty in that mine, because you could just see the stars. We didn't even have the head torches on, because the moon and the stars lit the prom up naturally, and your eyes adjust. But we had some really sketchy moments and some funny moments, so I chose to have a 3-minute nap at 3 a.m. So she went in her car up top. My car was on the prom itself next to Marco's. Jumped in the car, put the seat back, set alarm for like 5 minutes, and there's a reason it only lasted 3 minutes. Fell asleep. 3 minutes later, must have been 3 minutes past, heard this chuckling of this man and a lady, and I was thinking, who's Laurie with? Picked up my head. This Mercedes had parked next to the prom. Now, they didn't have a clue there was people sleeping in these cars. They'd gone down the beach for a rub. This couple, honestly. So woke us up. They went down to the beach. So I got out of the car, knocked on Laurie's car. I was like, come on, we've got to go. These people that just woke me up. She went, oh yeah, I hear them too. As we like get ready to go again, they come from the beach. I thought, poor lady, it was like 2 minutes they were down that beach for. So they wrecked my 5-minute nap. And I felt really shit. I don't know if anyone's listened and you've had like micro naps, like, oh my god, they're horrific. I'm never doing a micro nap ever again. I think if I'm going to nap on these things, it needs to be at least 20 minutes, because I think 3 to 5 minutes is like, it's nothing. Yeah. And I felt really groggy and I was freezing the whole night. So massive thanks to Laurie for spending the night with me and keeping me company. And then other people came during the night then, really randomly. Ben Brookman, he did substantial amount of miles. He came down and I think he went and did a training session in Barry himself and then came back down. So thank you to Ben. But loads of other people to thank. My ex, I'm going to shout out, you know, she's not going to listen to this, but she made medals for everyone, which was good. And then she made sure I got home and back into my flat after, because obviously I could barely walk after that. So thank you to her and Steph. And yeah, and just everyone that came down and supported, it was great. I was gutted you couldn't make it, could you? But I was gutted. But it wasn't something I could think about, because my first focus was I need to run 100 miles up and down.
Yeah,
up and down the prom.
I was honestly so gutted I couldn't make it, but I'm pretty sure I was like away at a gymnastics.
Yeah, you were away.
Something.
You were a comp, weren't you? So, but that's life, isn't it? It's fine. Yeah.
But like, this is what I've noticed has been like the biggest thing for me since quitting coaching is I am out every weekend supporting events, doing events, being there for my friends, and I'm like, this is just the most amazing thing. Like today, 2-year anniversary of Adventure Athletes, I'm up a mountain, and like I can't remember the last weekend now where I haven't been off somewhere doing something that like I've loved doing. Yeah,
and this is living, isn't it? This is what we should be doing.
I can't remember before this the last time I've had like a full weekend off, and I'm like, so this is what it's like when everyone's like, oh, I live for the weekend, and I'm like, I do now. I get it. Like I don't just work 24/7. Like I'm at mountains.
It's what I tell you what I've noticed as well lately. I know we've spoken about it. I say it off air like we're like some pros in the media, but just how happy you are now. You say, obviously, you chuckle and laugh about me being cheery, and you know we haven't spoken about. We'll get onto the backyard in a bit. Well, no doubt. But seeing you like with a smile on your face and fucking dancing around the trig, like genuinely makes me really happy. and I think I'm good at faking it. So things like we'll come onto the backyard, but I weren't always enjoying the backyard. See, and this is where I'm good. I'm good at the self-talk during those things. Like if I say like I'm fine, I am.
Yeah.
But I'm struggling on some of those laps with.
But the thing is, I know that.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about it, we'd be going around. You're like, yeah, no, I'm bonking, and like,
Yeah, there was
I need
one-
some sugar.
one lap.
Yeah, it was me, you, and MK, wasn't it?
Fucking
And then
one.
she was like,
yeah.
I got some sweets, and you was like, oh my god, you're a lifesaver.
Shout out to MK for saving me with a Mao stripe, because I think she had a wobble on lap 9, I had a wobble on lap 10, and I felt sick and faint, and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, I've gone from being absolutely fine for like, yeah.
But unless you'd have said something like you're saying, we would not have a clue.
Yeah, you wouldn't have known.
But like, even when you're saying it, you're upbeat about it, and that's your approach to it. And as much as I take the piss out of you, and I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up, like, I needed that around me. Like I was saying this to the guys earlier, I was like, as much as I call him out for being the fucking happiest prick I know, I need it.
I'm
there.
definitely not a happy prick.
You are. You're so upbeat, and
I don't
you're
know
the
about
same
that.
as Lee. Like, I've never met two people that push themselves as much as you two that are that sort of like upbeat about it. Even if you don't feel it, like just your energy. And this is what I was saying earlier about your charisma. Like, you're just like packed full of charisma because you can just like light up like anywhere that you are.
Cry now, mate.
But it's true. Like, I always think like, if you look at ultra endurance athletes, like I'm comparing us to like the goats now.
Fucking hell.
You would remind me of like Courtney DeWalter. You look at her.
I'll take that one.
She's happy. She's always smiling. She's suffering, but she's
Yeah.
like happy about it. Whereas I'm more like Goggins, where I'm like, fucking shut the fuck up. Who's carrying these fucking boats? Like, get on with it, you lazy cunt. And I talk to myself like that. Whereas your self-talk is a lot more upbeat than mine.
I hope no one hears snippets of this podcast and all they got from it is these two
You're
think they're
Courtney,
DeWalter and Goggins.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
we're
it's-
not that level.
No, like...
But like, if
Oh,
I was like, I
no,
just think it's
don't-
like a nice comparison.
Goggins is nowhere near DeWalter's level, mind. Nowhere near DeWalter. He's not.
What?
He doesn't win these major events, does he? And he doesn't run as fast as her either.
He came second at Moab, 240.
Yeah,
through
but
the
not.
desert.
I don't think he runs the same pace as
No,
DeWalter. Like
but
she
like-
is. Like she. I think she's. For me, she's the goat. Like,
Elite runner, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, when you look at everything else that Goggins does.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. But yeah,
So,
we're
like-
definitely not like that.
No,
But
we're not that level.
because like, yeah. But if you, I see the comparisons you're making.
It's just like, I think that's a nice way for like the listeners to be able to like see the sort of levels of like how we respond to things differently.
Yeah.
But how it's not holding either of us back. Like me being negative on myself, that's a good thing for me.
You
Like,
fuel.
although
That's
it's bad for
yeah.
me mentally, it's good for my performance because I'm like, shut the fuck up, get on with it. It doesn't matter. And like, this is, I got that from, I never used to train, did I, for these events? So I'd rock up and I would start suffering a lot earlier than someone like you who's actually trained for the event. And I need that to get through, otherwise
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. Whereas like you put in the effort and you can turn up and be like, I'm suffering and this hurts, but you can enjoy it more.
I don't feel like I actually train. This sounds really controversial. I don't actually train for these. I just go out and run. I don't plan. I don't have running. I don't have training plans. I wing it
Again,
on the
like
day.
DeWalter.
I just know I need to. I need to hit like this week. I need to do so much elevation, but I don't like go right on Monday. I'm going to do a tempo run or so. I might add the odd speed session in. Most of my sessions have hills in, but they're not like planned sessions. I don't like, right, today I'm going to do X amount of miles. I just go out and run. Because
Again,
I'm a
very
big
different
believer.
like that.
I'm a big believer in enjoying the training, and then suffering a little bit at the event. Because I think that's what the event's for as well, isn't it? Because you can never mimic the actual event. You can mimic events when you're doing the short stuff. You can mimic 5k races, 10k races. You can mimic up to a marathon in theory. You can't mimic a 100 miler. You can't mimic a 200 miler because they are the event itself is the suffering.
Yeah.
I think with the shorter stuff, the training is the suffering, and then the event is the cherry on top of the cake. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Like when you're using that comparison, I think of sprinters. 100 meters, you're not suffering 100 meters. That's a celebration. Whereas the training behind the 100-meter sprint is absolutely savage. But like you're saying, with like 100 miles, that's like your training. You have to enjoy it because you're going out for such long days.
Yeah, they're just long days.
That like when you get to the 100 miles, it's like right now I just have to suck it up and get on with it.
This is why risky trigs kind of grew a lot last year. I know we touched upon it in the last episode and stuff. So by having these mini, I call them mini goals. I hate the word goals, but mini like missions during these runs to find these like summits. And they're not always trigs. Sometimes they're just summits on Summit Bag. But having that, and you've had experience of this now, haven't you, over the last kind of so many months, they just add a little extra dimension to your training. So you end up spending 20 minutes a mile trying to get over a fence or whatever, which is fine. And they just add an extra dimension. And actually, you've given your training or your runs out there a little bit of purpose. You just, 9 times out of 10, I'm just running into a field with nothing there. Literally, I'm like, did I even hit the fucking summit? I don't know. This feels like the highest point. And then I'm fucking running out the field. But that's been a game changer for me, I think. Because I generally enjoy all of my runs now when I go out. When I was a bit younger, I never enjoyed running, really. Like, the longer stuff. It was like, I have to do it because I've got a marathon or whatever. I was a road runner. Now I'm like, I can't wait to go out because I'm going to enjoy the actual run. I think Terry said it on the episode last week, is he doesn't enjoy running. He enjoys that he has run. Yeah. That he's done it. So he enjoys. I'm both. I like that feeling of accomplishment. And I think that's why I like to do the bigger stuff now, because I'm always chasing the next. What's the next thing? You know, I did the 100. And I had the best feeling I've ever felt in my life, and that's still the best feeling. I don't think I'll conquer that when I cross the line in Abergavenny, because when I did the prom, my finishing video. It's funny when you say about me being jolly. I'm not always jolly. Sometimes I am the Goggins. I'm like, fuck this shit, right? And I was at the prom for like the last 10 miles. I was fucking out of it totally. Mile 85. I'll go back a little bit into this. I had another nap. So again, I was like, right, I'll just have a 5-minute nap. Did I have 5 minutes? Did I fuck? It was 20 odd degrees. The prom was packed. There was fucking Hell's Angels bikers on the prom revving their fucking Harleys, which was cool. But I'm trying to have a fucking nap and I got 15 miles left to go. And I woke up, and no word of a lie, it's the first time in my life I said I was going to quit, right? And I've never said that when it comes to, I've never DNF'd. Touch wood. I don't like, and I've got a new mantra for this year, which we'll go through in a bit. And I said,
it's not the one we've been going on about, is it?
It's sort of. Okay. There's two, but there's another one that I'm using, right? Because I fucking love it. Anyway, so there's 2 people I really have to like thank for the prom, and that's Sean and Kerry. So I said, basically, I woke up and I was in a fucking bad way. I couldn't move. They had to physically lift me out of the chair, completely stiffened up. I thought it must be like what happens to a dead body, right? Honest to God. And I said to Sean, I want to quit. And he's like, you ain't quitting. I was like, oh, fuck it. I can't do it. And then that fired me up. I was like, why the fuck am I saying that to myself? So I had a bit of a Goggins moment. I was like, fucking let's get going. And I'm saying that, then I still can't move. So they're like, do you when like an injured footballer gets stretched off by their teammates and they got their arms around? That was me. But you got like 6 foot odd Sean up there, and Kerry's smaller than me, which is quite hard really. So I'm like wonky, and then I slowly get loosened up. Then Kerry runs back and gets me some zappings. Oh, zappings! Praise the fucking Lord for codeine. I dropped 2 codeine, and then I've got like a 4-hour memory blank in the prom. I remember, and all I did was death march. So I ran for 85 miles straight. Now, I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, oh, if I can walk 3 miles an hour, I can do like sub 23 hour move-in time here, which I'll be fucking buzzing with. To get under 24 hours would just be amazing for me, like, because I was like, I didn't really have a goal for the 100. Like, I'd already done 100 miles before, so it was like, what can I do to make me feel like it's worth it? So I just chose to I couldn't run, I couldn't move, right? So I just death marched, didn't use poles. I was like, I'm not using poles on the prom. And there's 4 hours I can't really remember well. And I remember, I call it waking up, is Nathan Hutton turning up. And I'm like, he's fucking royalty. And then there's me walking. And I felt really sorry for him that he'd run down to help and support. And there's me just walking up and down prom. But he was great. Like, he gave me a massive lift. Just him being there. Like, you know, Nathan's a lovely guy and really humble. And he's a fantastic runner and, you know, always got time for you, got loads of advice. So it was great to kind of spend some time with him. And then he went and finished he probably ended up doing 40 miles down the coast that day anyway. And then my friend Hot Wings, he came and spent the last couple of laps with me. He's one of my good friends. And then on mile 99, I was like, I'm going to politely tell you to fuck off, mate. I want to do the last mile on my own. And it was in my head then, last mile, and just, I say when you're in the last mile of a race and you like pick up the pace, it was the opposite. I just slowed down because I knew I was going to come in under the 23 move-in time, which I wanted. And yeah, when I finished, I went flat, but I was grumpy as hell. So back to my original point, I'm not always fucking happy. And the prom finishing video is testament to that, because I just went, let's go on. It's like there wasn't loads of people there. It was like, there was Fee, there was Hot Wings, and then there was someone from my old running club who was there as well. It was like 3 people. And there was people there like, what the fuck's going on? There's me with a Welsh flag in the air, looking miserable. I was like, what's this guy doing? But now it's good. So every time I go down the island or go to Marco's Cafe, Nino was always like, oh yeah, this is my friend. He's the one that did 100 miles up and down. And you could just get people. We spoke about it before. Oh, you're mental. And I'm still a bit like, I don't think I am. I just think this is what I like doing.
Yeah.
I can see why they say it. I understand, like, I hear what they're saying.
Sport in Mind actually shared something about this, and this is a real thing that, like,
it is a
people
real
struggle
thing.
with, and I thought it was just me.
No.
And I've really been like, maybe this is something that I need to work on, and I've been trying so hard to work on it, but it still gets to me.
Yeah, me as well a little bit, and I'm not offended. Like, I don't think, oh, they were a dickhead for saying it, but I'm just thinking.
Yeah, no, I don't think that, but like, it really upsets me in a way.
Yeah,
like,
I don't get upset as such. It's more like I start questioning myself. Actually, is there something wrong with me?
Yeah.
And look, and like, we go back to, like, I keep going back to episode 1. Like, when we're happy people, everyone's like, you're allowed to be happy in you. It's just accepted as normal. But actually, being really fucking miserable and stuff is just as normal as being really happy. It's just normal human emotions, isn't it? But when people start tagging, like, you're insane, you're mental, I'm thinking, am I though? Or am I just someone who wants to do something to create some sort of, like, legacy? Because I think we haven't really got into it around, like, why I do it. Because in episode 1 you asked me what my call to adventure was. Now, I think I gave a wishy-washy answer that day, but I think I found it now. So I've accidentally found something. So for Easter back in, I think it was like mid-noughties, I must have been a teenager, my mum gave me, my brother and my sister, a box each. In this, normally we get, obviously you get fucking Easter eggs and chocolate and stuff, but this Easter was different. Now she put together loads of stuff from when we were kids, that, like, newspaper clippings when I played football and certificates from school, and I've brought some stuff, right, because I want to share something with you, because I struggle to find my why. Like, why the fuck do I run? Why am I doing this stupid shit? Basically, why am I mental? Why are people calling me insane? And I always thought, like, when I was younger, I was like, oh, let me try and get this. Oh, it'll probably make me fucking cry. When I was younger, obviously my mum and dad were together, but I never really had. So my dad was there, but he weren't really there. I don't really remember anything positive. Yeah, he was a waste of space, and I got no time for him. So it's not that I miss my dad, but when I try and think back to when I was a kid, there's no positive memories. I don't remember doing anything with my dad. I don't even remember going for food, or him taking me anywhere. Just I have no recollection of that. And then I opened this fucking box and I found these things, and I fucking burst out crying because it made me realise actually why I do it. I think I do it because I want to feel recognised and I want to be respected, but I want someone close to me to be able to be like, I'm proud, and that's my son. So the reason I fucking do all this shit now is because I want my son to have what I never had. I want him to look up to me and be like, yes, that's my dad. And I think I've alluded to that similarly before, but seeing this stuff really impacted me a lot. So I'll show you, because then you can fucking see. So like, at some point I clearly loved my dad, and this is my point, so you can see like a little Father's Day thing. Now this is the person now who I hate because he abandoned me, but at some point I loved this man, and he was my superhero. Here's another one. I remember, like, we had troubled times with my real dad, and where I grew up, it was tough. And I give you some insight. My dad got.
Just gonna show it to the camera.
I was only a kid, by the way. It's dreadful art. I'm really proud that I'm not fucking born and up here. I seen my dad get smashed with a hammer and almost killed, and him stumbling back to the house with blood everywhere, and him getting sent to hospital, and I've done like a get well soon card, but you see there's an S on him, his chest, which I'm guessing at the time is Superman. Yeah. So like, and then this one's a little bit weird. It's a barn owl. I am Plop, the owl, right? But it's the whole to dad love from Michael, and I'm just like, it made me realise.
Jenkins.
Yeah. Awful.
There we go.
But my point is, at some point, I obviously looked up to that man, but I can't remember it. And I'm like, I never want my son to look back in his childhood and not have those feelings and memories that his dad did something significant. So this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I did the prom, and the little fucker said to me, "Oh, it's amazing you did 100. When you going to do 200?" I'm like, "Oh, Luke, come on, is 100 miles not enough?" Because I think he went to school one day, and it's that old added thing when you're in school, my dad's harder than yours, or my dad does this. He says to his mates, my dad runs 100 miles, and no one believes him. But it is genuinely true. So I want him to just be really proud of me, and I think that's why I do it. So there's my why right there. I'm not mentioning my daughter here, and it doesn't mean that the dynamics with the son is a little bit different. So my daughter completely recognises what I do, and we've got that really close bond. With my son, I want him to be really inspired with the stuff that I do, because we're very aligned on that stuff, because he wants to run as well. And we're doing something tomorrow, actually. So actually it should be done by the time this comes out. So,
yeah, it will be done by the time this comes out.
But
do you want to bring up what that is going to be?
I'm really glad I didn't cry, because I was close. So Dad, if you ever listen to this, fuck you, because I still don't like you. Anyway, that's a story for another day. So we're doing a Denison round record attempt tomorrow with a twist. Not a twist as in we're not changing it, we're doing the Denison round, but my son's going to go for the youngest ever Denison finisher. Yeah. They told me he will be if he does it, so they better not be lying, because we're geared up for this now. He's got his pack, he's got his new trail shoes. We've spent loads of time on the trails. We did trail school last week, Risky Tricks trail school. Worked on some like fundamentals and climbing, hands on thighs, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Some downhill work, little light steps, down a really steep screed style hill, and he let himself go at one point. I thought, oh, shit, he's going to fall over, and he was fine, and he had road shoes on as well. Then we did a stride through the woods. I shared the video of him striding through the woods. 6:30 a mile he was doing, 4-minute kilometres. Yeah. He was, like, don't get me wrong, he was, by the time we got to the end of the woods, he was blown out of his arse, but he's quick. Yeah. And I'm so proud of him, and just seeing the the joy on his face is great. And the good thing about Luca is I don't need to force it on him. He asks me all the time, when can you take me on the trails? When can you take me out? And I'm like, we will go out. You can't be doing it all the time. You're only little and stuff. Like, so we've been sparingly going out on trails and stuff. And he's got a nice natural talent for it. And I think in time it might be something that he takes up if he really wants to. He's already said he wants to do a 100-miler with me when he's a man. So I need to stay in tip-top shape because that'll be fun, suffering with my son. But I'll be really proud to do something like that. We go back to Andrew Glaze. I think his son did a marathon, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's amazing. That's what I want. I'd love that. And it's not that I'm living out my son's dream, because I'm also living my dreams. So it's not like he's doing it because I can't. We're doing it together, and I feel like he wants to do stuff like that. So when I proposed the Denison Round challenge to him, straight away, yeah, I want to do it. I want to have a go. So went to Greg's today, bought 4 sausage rolls. So we got some snacks.
Carbo loading, is it?
That's for the run.
Oh, for the
run. So
yes,
we eaten it just before I came here. We had some food. I said, look, we'll go back to mum's now. Make sure I have a good early night's sleep. Pick up at 7:30. Be ready. And then we'll go to First Light. I think Matt's there tomorrow. Ring the bell, and we're going to go on an adventure. It's not going to be fast, but it's just be really nice to spend the time together, 1-to-1, on the trails. And some of those climbs are quite tough, so it'll be really good to see him like go through a little bit of the, well, this is hard, but actually how we can overcome that.
Yeah. Valuable skill.
Valuable skill, you know. And there's treats at the end for him, like you'll know that as well. So he's got a bit of an incentive, but he's a bit like me. I said, look, if you finish it, you'll be the youngest ever, and that you'll have a good pat on the back. People will really respect you for that, and he loves that. He's just like me. He's very respectful. He wants people to appreciate him and give him a pat on the back and a job well done. And this is why it's probably a bad trait for me, but I do seek that validation from others. I like it. I like having the pat on the back and people saying, I like what you do. Because I like people shy away from saying stuff like that. I don't. I love that. It's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I want people to respect me. Because again, growing up, I didn't really have that from anywhere. Never got it from it. I was silent, which is hard to believe. But as a kid, wouldn't say boo to a goose. And now I don't shut up. But it's because I'm catching up, and I think a lot of it is the trauma, and growing up and wanting to kind of get out there and do something worthwhile. I don't know if you feel like this, but when I was in school, I don't know if you've ever seen that Peter Kay thing. So Peter Kay did this series before he was famous, really. It was his first one. It was before Phoenix. Have you ever read of Phoenix Nights?
I've heard of it, not watched it.
It was before Phoenix Nights. It was called that Peter Kay thing. And there was a character in one of his episodes called Leonard. Now, Leonard was a fictional character. He was an old man who did a paper round every day. Now, he had slight special needs, this character, and his whole life revolved around him, this paper round every day. But he was like an old man. He was like, must have been like in his 60s or 70s. He looked a bit like Santa. Now they described Leonard in that program as like everyone's friend but had no friends. So like everyone knew him and the whole community knew him and were nice to him, but he had no real friends. And sometimes I genuinely that's how I feel. Even now to this day, I still struggle to think anyone is actually my friend. I think I know people, I know loads of people, because of this is what this world does for you in running, especially in South Wales. Everyone just knows each other, but sometimes I still find it hard to like be a part of something, or I still struggle to believe people when they say like they're your friend, because I've been let down so much in my life. And I think when the person who's meant to protect you just leaves you, with no nothing, you always question. I think an example of that was when I first came on your podcast, and I kept asking you, "Is this still on? Is this still on?" And you're like, "I recognise from that from you, because I'm so used to people letting me down. It happens to me loads. It's happened to me loads in the last year where people said, "Oh yeah, I'll be there," or "I'll do this," and then they actually don't, and I'm just like, because I'm not built like that. It really fucking frustrates me.
Yeah.
So I would say, going back, I'd like the whole Leonard thing from that PK thing. Sometimes that's how I feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, you said you don't know if I feel like that. I do.
Yeah.
I get you, because like you said when you was doing that messages of like, is it still on? That's me. I have to. I catch myself doing it a lot now, and I stop myself doing it. Like I almost messaged you, like today before you messaged me, being like I'll be down at 5:30. I almost messaged you just being like, just checking you're still on for today, and I'm like, no, he's gonna be there. He said he will.
Yeah.
But like I fully get it, because it's like you've been let down so much that it's like, well, is it still on? Like how late should I check? Because like if I check yesterday, are they going to change their mind today? Are they not going to show up? Like when's the perfect? And I get so into my head of like, when is the perfect time to check if someone's still doing the plans with me? But I know that I shouldn't do that, and that sometimes also pushes people away. So I try actively not to do that, and I just try and take people on the word of they've said they're going to do something, they're going to do it. But like you're saying, you still get let down.
Oh yeah, it's happened. Yeah, it's that. Obviously, risky tricks become more of a group thing over the last kind of 6 months, and that went really well. And we were meeting every Wednesday, and then I think back in January, I had a bit of a lot of personal stuff happening. The back end of last year and beginning of this year. And I had a bit of a wobble, right? And we all have them, don't we? And I was quite vocal about mine. When normally I wouldn't be so vocal and open. And I had loads of friends messaging me, if you ever need anything, go in there, etc., etc. So then when I have then asked them to do stuff, they're like, oh no, I can't. And it's like, oh, but you said, last week you said you'd be there for me, but you're not actually there for me. So like, when I had my wobble and I needed people there, still to this day, no one's come to mind. I've still not had a visitor since that day. But I've asked people to like do stuff, and it does get me down. It does, because I feel like I want to be there and help. I feel like I do so much and want to help everyone and try and bring people together and stuff with runs, and I don't always get it back from people. So I kind of culled a little bit of the Risky Tricks Wednesday runs, because it ended up being like 2 or 3 people, and I'm just like, I can't water a dead plant for so long. I know people got lives and stuff, and that's fair, but I was putting a lot of energy and effort and money. You know what it's like. I was pumping money and driving and stuff like that into this idea. But sometimes you've got to accept that it hasn't quite worked. Let's change it up a little bit. So I was moving to this more like, okay, once a month we'll go get a group in the mountains on weekend. And do you know what? They've been incredible. And we've had some great days out. Because what you'll find with mountain running is you get a lot of people who love the idea of running the mountains, but they won't just go and do it because they don't know where they're going. It's
the planning and everything.
The planning, the parking. Do you know what? Parking is like, must be in most people's top 3 things they're anxious about when it comes to these things, is parking.
Yeah.
But because I've travelled everywhere now in South Wales and know most of the trails, I know all the good spots to park and stuff like that. So having someone there to like plan it and stuff works well for them. And then we've introduced so many people through these groups as well, which has been great. But yeah, back to the earlier point is, you do get let down quite a bit. But I'm getting better on not taking it to heart so much, because I know people have got lives. And
do you remember I sent you that Simon Sinek thing, the clip from a podcast he went on, where he's like, he used to, like, he was always there for his friend, and it'd be like, oh, like, do you want to meet up? They'd be like, oh no, I'm busy, or like the other way round and whatever. And he was like, they kept like asking me things, and then something bad happened and he had to wait, and then when they did get back to him, they're like, I was down. And he was like, why didn't you say anything? They're like, well, I did. And he was like, when? And then they pointed out the message where they're like, this was me asking for help. And he was like, but that's the same as every other message that you've had. So like in their head, it's like, I've sent this message, this is me calling out for help. And this really resonates with me, because I know I've done that, where I've sent like a very similar message to what I would usually send, just being like, oh, hey, you all right? Do you want to go for a run or something?
Well, you're in in you, you're like, I need
Yeah.
someone.
But to them,
Yeah.
they're not reading it like that because
They
it's
read
so
it-
similar to the other messages of just
Yeah.
like, oh, he's all right, he just wants to go out, and it's, oh, sorry, I'm busy. And he was like, we need to differentiate those times. So then he said the thing where, like, it takes 8 minutes of someone's time, like, to be together with someone talking for them to feel
I remember
understood.
the 8 minutes thing you said.
Yeah. And then it's like, if you're ever down, don't just send me a generic message. Just be like, can I call you for 8 minutes? And then, like, no matter what he knows in his head, they need some help. So then it's like, right, I'm going to reach out to them. And I've had like a few people where I've done similar, or they've done similar things for me recently, like Andrew. Love Andrew. And he knows that I've been struggling a bit recently. And he's like, no matter what, just like reach out. And I'm like, I've really struggled reaching out, like for the same thing we've said, like we've been let down too many times, or it's just hard in the moment. And he was like, just message me saying like something stupid, just so I know that something's wrong. And he was like, I'll call you, I'll message you, I'll come round, you can come here, you can have dinner with us, but like I need to know something's wrong first for me to be able to do something. So maybe it's like something like that.
Yeah, I would, because you're very open with me. You just tell me, don't you? And then I'll say, I will meet you if you want me to.
Yeah.
But then you sometimes don't take people up on that offer. But if that's not what you need, it's not what you need in that time. I get what you're saying, but I've literally said to people, I'm struggling and I need to see someone.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't, like, I've had no's. And like, I'll hype people up who are in my community so much. I idolise people. I don't get it. I don't get the same energy back. And I find that hard. I do find it hard. But then I do understand that everyone's different, and people are not going to reciprocate what you give. But also, it's your own. We live in our own heads. Everyone's in the Truman Show. You're all the main.
Yeah.
You're all the main character in you, and people like diss people for being main characters, but we're all. If everyone looked after themselves, we'd all be alright, wouldn't we? In theory, so. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, actually, am I being too much? Am I being too main character-y? Then I'm like, actually, but I need to look after myself as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, this sport, and we talked about the bad side of running previously, because I've been shat on previously in a road running club, and it happened to me today. So I'm just gonna fucking laugh about it now because I'm just done with it.
Yeah.
So my old there's a running club in Barry that I'm a member of, that I go to runs with. I'm like just as entitled to go there as everyone else. It's not like an affiliate club, it's just a social one. They haven't got a Wednesday session on next week, so I posted in the group, risky trigs, trail sessions. They don't even do trail runs. This is like, does anyone want an introduction into trails? You're welcome to come along. The post got deleted and I got removed from the group. All I did was post my little picture that I make. I'm talking with my hands now. I just fucking done with it now. I'm like, what have I done there? No one's even rang me and said, oh, you shouldn't have done that. I'm like, it's just asking people if they want to come out for a run with me.
Yeah. Because
that's what running is, right? You just ask people to come out for a run and they come out for a run with you, and it's really that simple. It's not like no one owns running, no one can gatekeep it. So this stuff keeps fucking happening to me all the time, where I feel like I get excluded, like off the drop of a dime, and then sometimes I'm like, what have I done? I'm trying to like track back. Have I done anything leading up to this point that deserved that? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure there wasn't. And this is what goes back to my little wobble I had in January and February, and I was feeling down, and I was very vocal about it. All that's happened since then is all of my friends have just distanced themselves from me and not really bothered with me, and it has hurt. It's hurt a lot actually, but I've made friends since then as well, and people have come and gone in my life over the last year, and lessons have been learned. But sometimes I feel like I don't deserve being pied just because I said I was having a wobble. I thought you were allowed to have a wobble. That's what the society tells you now. You're allowed to. You're allowed to not be okay, they say, but I still don't believe that's true. I still think when you do, especially as a man, when you do come out and you say you're down, people will use it against you. I know you've had experience of that in the past, haven't you? And
some more recent than others. And
yeah, and there's this massive, you've had Carl on, he's great at talking about advocacy of mental health and stuff, and he's accepted I think by people around him that he goes through that, and he articulates it in such a good way. I've articulated it, and I just feel like I've been absolutely fucking shat on because of it. So I'm like less likely to open up in the future now, because I've been like, I think it's been used against me, like improves relationships and stuff, where I thought those people were there to support and help you. So a bit of advice: if a man is saying that he's down, like, fucking have his back, don't run away. Like, try and walk towards them and offer.
Just be there for them.
Yeah, a high five and a cuppa.
What I will say is it's been fucking amazing to see you come into the punks runs, just because like I've been going to them more.
Yeah.
And like every time, like I saw you comment the other day, just before the Wednesday one, saying that you was coming, I get so excited when I see that you're coming, mate. Like honestly, it's such like a pleasure to have you there, and I love running with you.
I appreciate that.
So it's been really good, you getting involved with it all.
I think, well, this is one of those things like we did in therapy around reframing, isn't it? So although I can some risky trigs Wednesday sessions and cutting them down to like once a month, it's meant I've gone to more punks.
Yeah.
And you can't beat the punk sessions. Like my risky trigs runs are nowhere near as good as the punk sessions.
Yeah. And I know I was one of the people giving you a bit of a dig about talking about the prom too much, but like I didn't mean that. But like I didn't realise it was affecting you until you said.
It's more of so with those things, it's more of an accumulation. Yeah. So,
but I just didn't know I was adding to it. Like I was
one person
subconscious of it, but I was treating it like we treat Lee about his back, and I kept going on about Lee about his back.
I think. Do you know when something gets mentioned by a lot of people?
Yeah.
And you're like, what's happened here? What have I done? So when I did the prom, I spoke about it a lot. Right now, this is probably growing. I could never celebrate my achievements as a kid. Right, I've actually brought something to celebrate, because I've never celebrated this. Right, and I'm gonna fucking celebrate it on the podcast today. Probably back to daddy issues, right? But
good place.
I grew up never being able to celebrate myself. Fucking hell. I like, in my group of friends, nothing positive. All you're doing was getting ripped all the time, and I'm just like, boring. And they're still like, there's guys I know now are over 40, who they're the older age group than me. I'm not 40 yet, right? And they're still to this day, all they do is like wind each other up all the time. Like nothing's ever serious. No, I'm here for a laugh. Like, you know that. Like, we have a good laugh and stuff, and I hate the word banter, but there is that. We throw stuff around. We wind each other up with certain things.
Like Lee in his back.
But you've got to earn the right to do that, I think, with your friends, haven't you?
Yeah.
But with the prom, like, I was really proud of it. And I was like, do you know what? I'm really fucking proud of this. And I was talking about it, and loads of people messaging me saying they were inspired. And, we've got our friend Paul, who's going to potentially...
I was gonna bring that up.
Attempt the Mumbles ton, and he said that one of the inspirations was me doing the prom. So like, I love all that stuff. And then there's a particular incident that sits with me, which people wouldn't have even realised happened, because they were the other side of the fence and I was the... Do you know when you're in a group of people and you're the butt of a joke? It's fucking horrific, right? Even when it's light-hearted, because I don't like being the butt of a joke when there's a group of people. I just don't appreciate it. I just don't like it, right? And I don't know, there must be something from when I was a kid that's affected me, and I've never enjoyed it. That's why when I played football for 20 years, I was always in a group of lads, like, and I hated it then as well. And someone made a joke in front of everyone, and everyone laughed at me, and it was about the prom, and it was an event that we both did, right? I left. I was having such a nice day. I think we did one of the events. We were all sat there vibing. The race finished. Someone said something. Everyone laughed at me, and I just fucking got into my car and drove home, because I was like, "Fuck it, I'm done." And then it kept cropping up about me talking about the prom, and all it did is it just brought back that fucking me being about the joke. So sometimes I just throw my toys out the pram, because I'm a sensitive person. That's just me. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
It's in the nicest possible way. I'm not a nasty person, but sometimes I'll get really shitty really quickly. But it must be something down to when like I was a kid. It must be, I just don't enjoy that. So whenever I hear people joking about something that had already impacted me, obviously I get a bit like, well, something's in this now. Why are people having a dig at me? I'm the one that fucking run 100 miles. I'm the one that put myself through the fucking pain. No one else did.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, so that was the reason. It wasn't because it was that particular incident. It was more of, when you like, with blokes, this happens to blokes a lot. Do when you like are calm for so long and then all of a sudden you fucking lose your head? Tempo, innit?
Yeah.
And people only remember the angry bit. They don't remember everything in the leader. It was one of those situations, and it happens a lot. I hold my tongue a lot. I just don't like being the butt of a joke. But then it's ironic then, because I'm happy to joke about things myself. But yeah, but if I knew it was impacting someone, I fucking definitely wouldn't.
Yeah. No, I get you.
But yeah, back to the punks runs. I fucking love the punks runs. Big up the punks. I actually
I
feel like a punk now. I didn't for the first so many months of going, even though I had the top and I've raced in the top, done a couple of ultras in it. Like, I still never really felt like much of a punk, but now I kind of do, and that's down to the people. They're just such good people, and
yeah.
I like the ethos. There's no egos, which you know is a big thing for me.
Well, other than me.
Definitely not an ego.
We had this chat where I was like, I joke about having an ego all the time, and I always tell myself that I'm better than I am. And I sign up to races. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna win that. And it's like,
yeah, but
I don't actually.
That's not an ego though. See, I think it's the opposite. I've got this opinion, right? Do you know when people are really humble? You can't try to be humble. You're either humble naturally or you're not. When people try to be humble, that's disingenuous to me, and actually insincere. I don't. That for me is ego. When someone tries to be humble, I don't think I'm naturally humble with stuff. If I've done something good, I want to shout about it and be proud, because that's just who I am. If I try to be like, oh yeah, and just brush it off, I think that would come across worse personally. I don't think enough people talk about this whole humbleness thing, because I think some people try to be too humble, and then it's like, that's more cocky to me when someone tries to, I like you because you're like, I really want a podium. That's not like arrogant or thing for me. That's you like, yeah, actually, that's what I want, and I love that you're just open about it.
The thing is, like, for me, it's a joke, and I'm like, yeah, I want to win that, and like, I know, well, up to a point, I know that I'm not, and I'm like,
less 40 people DNF, like.
I'm like, I can say it because I know that I don't actually believe it, but I want to believe it, so I'm gonna keep joking about it.
Yeah.
And it helps me stay motivated, because I'm like, well, I've told every fucker that I'm gonna win. I got to at least do like a half decent performance. It was like when I was doing the tyre flip, and I was like, I'm gonna do a marathon tyre flip. Not for a single second did I believe I could do a marathon tyre flip.
You made me fucking believe.
I made everyone fucking believe,
Yeah.
but like, I was shouting about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I can do a marathon. I thought I could do the world record. I thought I could do way more than the world record. I was like, half marathon, great. 20 miles, fucking amazing. Marathon, I'm like, that whole time I was like, you
can't plan
like,
for a ruptured bicep though, can you?
No.
So.
But like, just looking at the maths, I was like, this is going to take me like 3-4 days. Like, there's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I know within myself I can't do that. But if I say it enough, like, I wouldn't have gone as far as I did if I didn't tell myself I was going to do a marathon. And like, I loved that. I love that of like, I'm gonna, like, I've been saying this to like some people.
Backyard,
like,
you said you were going for the win, didn't you? When you were there?
Oh no, I said 24 hours for backyard. But I'm like, Eden, yeah, I'm gonna be 5 days deep into ultras at that point, and I'm like, I'm gonna podium the Edam. Like, fuck, am I podiuming the Edam?
You never know. You never know.
I do know. I'm gonna be a broken man.
You're
But now that I'm like more consistent with my training and I'm seeing it pay off, I'm like, I could actually be good at this. And it's like that belief is starting to creep in, and I'm like, I know I'm not going to podium the Eden, but I'm like, what could I do
What if
next
you're
year?
already good and you just don't realise that yet? 'Cause
No,
I think
I'm
you're
not.
pretty good.
The thing is,
Depends what you like. It depends what you.
what I'm like comparing myself to.
Yeah.
I'm comparing myself to my potential. And because like you'll look at me and you'll be like, you train like fuck, like you are constantly training, you put in the effort, and I'm like, I haven't been doing that for long enough for it to actually matter. And then I know that like this week I've done 2 out of my 3 strength sessions that I've planned for myself. I've done none of my accessory work. I've done all of the runs that Lee's planned for me, but I haven't done any cross training or anything. And on the weight sessions I did the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could be doing more. And it's like that with like so many things.
But you could always be doing more. That's the problem. And then you get down a dark hole if you think you can always do more.
Yeah, no, I do get that, but I do also know that if I'm looking at like people that are gonna be like winning these things, like I could be doing more myself, and I know what that more is. It's not like I'm gonna get to that more and be like, well, I could do more. I'm like, this is a sensible amount. Like if I'm doing 4 runs a week, 3 strength sessions, 1 or 2 cross training sessions, I'm like, that is a solid plan. If I committed to that, like I'm a full-on athlete, and I committed to my sleep and my recovery and my diet, I could be doing really well, and that's what I'm comparing myself to.
Yeah.
Because people are always like, "Oh, you shouldn't compare yourself like podiums, like you
But
don't know what's
they
going
are
to
all
happen."
ifs and buts, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Those things. It's one thing having that, and then it's one thing actually being able to commit as well when you've got your other commitments. And this is why I look up to average people. Those people who've got jobs and like you've got a proper job as well. Do you know what I mean? You haven't got time to train for yourself all the time because you're too busy helping others. And you see these people out there. I always go back to Laurie. I think Laurie's my favourite runner because what she's got a job, she's got her kids, they're young, and she's so I've never known a runner that's so consistent. Like I genuinely look up to her more than I would an elite person, because I always get inspired by my friends. Like I always talk about John. John doesn't feel the same about me that I do about him, but he is absolute. I just look at him and saying he's unbelievable. Like he's full time.
Savage.
Yeah, but he puts the work in, so he deserves to be called a savage, and he deserves any success that he gets. To be fair to him, where I feel like a fraud sometimes because I see all these people doing these mad training, and I just waddle around looking for summits, doing some hills, and doing I'm in the gym a little bit now, but not that much. But that's what I love to do, and I still get the job done, and that's what I think is important for me. Like I'd never do these things with with placings in mind. I think Hateful Eight, I was 9th. Could have possibly been like top 6 because I could have carried on in theory, but in my head I had Wildhorse in my head, and I was like, I just want to be sensible. I want to stay injury free and stay healthy, which benefited me then. Now because I'm feeling good at the moment. But I don't think I'm going to get to a place where I really want to win or something.
It just depends what you want to get out.
Yeah, one day I might get to that place where the kids have grown up, and I might want to dedicate a bit more time to lose some weight and get faster. But I'm quite happy being a little plumpy, slow runner because I still get the job done.
It's like, look at Dan. He's like, I want full value. I'll take my time.
Yeah.
Stop off at the pub.
Yeah, I love that. That's what I like about Dan and this is what I like about runners, is when they've got authenticity. So Dan's got a style, and he's so authentic in himself. Like all his pinky wears or having a pint. And I like to think I've got my own thing with like risky
100%.
trips and stuff. Like I think people should be encouraged to do what makes them tick in running, and not fall foul to like following mad plans and stuff if they don't feel like that's what they want. Like, don't get me wrong, there's value in that, and people use different like the runner app or whatever floats your boat, or if you want to be very stringent on your training and good for you.
Get a plan
but there's
with
people
adventure
out
athletes.
yeah plug there. But there's also people out there that don't want that.
Yeah.
They want to find value in other bits in running, and I think there's this talking a lot in running around like pace, and you don't get it so much in trails. In trails, generally, it is more around fun, but trails are getting more. I'm finding it's getting more competitive because you get more people cross over now. Because trails are getting more accessible. There's more kits. Obviously, social media is blowing ultras up. You're seeing more coverage of like Cocodona, Moab, all these races around the world. UTMB, it's spiking people's interest a little bit. And a little part of me, I said earlier, this is going to be quite contradictory. No one could keep running, but I don't want every fucker coming over to the trails, because I quite like the small family feel of it, because you know what it's like being in this community in South Wales. We tend to all know each other, and that feel is amazing, and I wouldn't want that to be spoiled by trail running just blowing up.
This is quite funny, because I've had this at a lot of different sports that I've done.
Yeah.
So when I was doing free running competitively, like, I was around when like the first sort of competitions were happening, so I was in that like little group,
in the bubble.
And it was like, you know, everyone. Like, I knew like people all across the world from free running. I wasn't amazing free runner. I was all right, but I'd know everyone because I was doing the sport. Like we're saying, like in South Wales, like we all know each other. You don't have to be podiuming to be known. You just need to be you and there and doing it. And then when it got more accessible and more competitions were coming up, everyone was like, oh, like this is ruining the sport. And I'm like, but you guys can still do your thing and still enjoy it and be part of your community.
Micro communities.
Let them go off and do the competition side. Same thing happened in running, like not in running, in climbing.
Yeah.
So I got into climbing, and I started off going to like climbing gyms, and it was like that competition climbing environment because I joined quite late. And then I found my way to traditional climbing. Like, you've seen all my gear, like all the little nuts that you just wedge into rocks and stuff.
I couldn't believe how much gear just that's hanging on your wall. You have to climb up to get your gear. That's the irony.
But like that sort of stuff, like people don't tend to transition. Like, it'll be very few people, but then like that's that own little small community, and they look down on people that climb in gyms mostly because they're like, this is proper climbing. Like, you're outside. We don't want to drill into the walls and put metal bolts on the walls. We want to put the gear in ourselves and it to be like this pure thing. And I'm like, but you're still here doing that, and they can enjoy that too. It doesn't just because more people do it.
Yeah.
Just because more people are going to be competitive and training seriously, that doesn't detract from what you're doing.
Yeah.
Unless you think.
Yeah, there's a space for everyone in reality, but.
But I actually love the fact that it expands like that, because then you'll get people like me who started climbing indoors, and there'll be people that come across the trails because they're like, I want to win a race and do an ultra and podium, and then they'll find the love for it and then get drawn to like the more like almost traditional side of like, we're just here out and enjoying the mountains, and we just want to run 200 miles.
Just want to eat roasties on a mountain and stuff.
It like expands it and keeps it alive.
Yeah. But
you wouldn't get like, it would die out if those people didn't transition over. So there's definitely pros and cons to it, but like it's the one time I try and be positive and see the pros.
This brings me on to a good point, actually. I'm going to show you a video. So do you know when we've spoken previously and you're like, oh, I get loads of runners on the podcast and I want some more like adventure athletes. I found a young Michael Jenkins today. You'll be proud. So on the Prom in the Barrier Island, there's a massive wall with climbing frames on. Now, you wouldn't catch me climbing at these things because I'm the specialist. I'm just good at one. Well, I'm not even good at running. I'm just shit. Why do more than one sport when I'll just be shit at them all? Anyway, Luca seemed to have found a knack, mate. So I'm going to show you a little video.
I'll try and get this on camera too.
That's what I want to see, your reaction. So I wonder if you could coach this young climber. Bear in mind, he's got a pair of like Nike Dunks.
Yeah, no, I can see.
The wall's massive, by the way.
I can see by the height of him, and like that's quite a fall. If he did fall, like.
Also, I was filming,
straight
so if
on
he fell,
concrete.
that's it's got the soft padding flooring. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, no. Fair
Good
play.
there.
Yeah.
So you might have a future adventure athlete in the making there.
Get him a child's climbing harness. I'll take him outdoor climbing.
Because he enjoys that. Like it's good watching him, and he's like figuring out where he needs to put his hand and his foot. and it's good because he don't realise he's just using natural maths as he does it. Well, you know how know more about it than me do. And I'm like, I was never good at stuff like that. So yeah, so I was really proud of him. But I wanted to show you because I thought, because we've always said, I keep getting these bloody runners on my podcast. It's because we keep giving you recommendations and stuff. So
it's the community. Yeah. It's like we've been saying, like it's such a good community. Then they're like, I want to hear from this person, and then I get them on, and then they're like, oh, but I want to hear from this person, and it's like falling off from me because I used to have to. Well, I still try and scroll through Instagram for hours, but like the people that listen to the podcast recognize it from someone they know that happens to be a runner, and then they're like, oh, you should get, and it's more runners. So if anyone's listening and knows someone that isn't a runner, that's really interesting. Like I really want to hear from like some rock climbers. Like I'd love to get some more rock climbers on, or like strongman. I'm trying to get Olympic lifter on again because I've had I've had a couple of them on Olympic lifting coaches, but I've got someone that's on the Welsh team or GB team. I can never remember, but I'm trying to get her on because I used to train with her. But yeah, things like that, just people that do things that are different or really athletic. It doesn't have to be like super adventure, like Olympic lifting's the least adventure thing because you do 2 lifts for your whole career and that's it.
I still find it odd that like I'm on a podcast called Adventure Athletes because I'm just like love roast potatoes and custard slices.
Mate, you've seen my diet. Like, come on.
Speaking of communities, I wanted to bring it up was the Hateful Eight and how good that was.
That was an amazing event.
So good.
That was another event where you'd have seen me smiling until lap 5.
I was so smiling when you fucking run past me. Well, you saved me and Lisa because we went the wrong way, didn't we, on that one lap? And you're like, where are you going? We would end up going like... we would have ended up going...
Same mistake.
Yeah.
I did that on the... it was the half with the trophy behind you. I did that same thing and someone was like, hey, it's
where you going? Like, oh, shit. That was a great event. So massive, like, kudos to Kev and the guys who put that on because... Well, Kev put it on, but obviously we had great volunteers as well because I really enjoyed that race. It was a really, really good format. You got 8 hours. It's a 8.5 mile lap. And you just do as many laps as you want in those 8 hours. And you're technically allowed to start the last lap before the 8 hour mark.
Which might not be happening anymore.
It's going to stop that potentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's just doing that for the Dusk Till Dawn or if he's doing that for the Hateful Eight.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm volunteering at Dusk Till Dawn.
I'm running it.
You are running it, that'd be good. So I'm gonna... Me and Mikey Evans have spoken. Pills to Hills, Mikey Evans. Yeah. Because we're like twins with our tats and everything. We want to get paired up because we're gonna decide we're gonna have a rave on Dusk Till Dawn, wherever we are on the course. We're gonna take my speaker. So whenever everyone gets to us, you might just see these 2 mad heads.
And I'll be like, fucking he's too positive for this time of night.
Oh no, we'll put some dark music on. We'll get some like...
It'll be like a proper like disco rave and then you'll be like, fuck, Will's coming, lights off.
No, when
put
you...
on like,
Slipknot. We'll just get some like heavy rock on for you. And then as soon as you're gone, we'll put some like Michael Jackson on or something. We'll lighten it up. But... in all seriousness, yeah, we really enjoyed that event because all the events I did last year were all Pegasus. So, but it feels very Pegasus-like in a sense because it's the same, and it's the same people. But he knows how to put a good event on, and fair play to him. And I think him and Carl are working on something in the background, but I haven't got any information. I haven't got a clue what you might know. Do you?
I got a little bit.
You got a little idea. I don't know if you're allowed to say, but like, yeah.
What I want to bring up about the Hateful Eight now that you've brought it up. So the course record is 6 or 7 laps currently. I think Ben Wernick's got the record. Ben Wernick,
2024 on it, I think.
So he's got 7 laps. I can't see this happening. Kev thinks someone's going to get 10. 10 laps in the 8 hours. I can't, like, that's a...
Does he?
That's like 90 odd mile. Close to 90 mile.
Yeah.
In 8 hours. I think that's ambitious, but he's like, no, someone will do it. And I'm like,
I don't think
Because
that
I
distance-
questioned him and I was like, you mean on the overnight one? He was like, no, on the
standard.
8-hour one. And I'm like, I don't know, mate. That's...
I don't know, unless he's making drastic changes to the route. Maybe, I don't know.
That would be massive if someone did 10 laps.
Yeah, if Ben Wernick did 7, like, and he's a pretty accomplished ultra runner, let's be fair.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's gone to Barclay, hasn't he?
he just did. I think he
Yeah.
couldn't find a book, one of the books or something. But do you know what's really cool? Like, knowing, I don't know him a lot, but we spoke just before because we did a Pona, and I started the race next to him for about 3 meters. But I spoke to him just before the race. Knowing someone that's gone to Barclays is quite cool.
Yeah.
I don't even know how he got in. I think he wrote a letter or something. Again, someone asked me, "Would you be interested?" I'm like, "No, doesn't interest me doing that race."
Oh, that interests me.
Yeah,
Massively.
right up your street.
Massively interests me. I'd love to.
Too many.
Can't imagine it ever happening.
I've seen the
but-
state of their legs after one lap, and I'm like, nah.
Oh, I mean, that's basically the same as one of Rose's routes on a punk run.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's the one I missed.
Yeah.
I was
I love that.
I was at
Shout out Rose.
I was up north. I was at Leeds. That was a poor Yorkshire accent. Apologies, I'm from Yorkshire. I couldn't get back in time, so I was a little bit gutted. But then when I saw all the photos, I was like,
of
maybe
me
I
just laughing at people.
maybe I
as
got
we're
away.
going through
Maybe I got away with
brambles.
that one. This is why I love punks. You have such variation in routes and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, Rose's run compared to James's run on Wednesday that we did, wildly different.
Yeah, but I would
Loved
love
it.
both equally because
And then that one that we did, was it Andy leading that one up Craigeralt? Wicked
from the snack bar in Caerphilly. Yeah. Caerphilly Mountain, Craigeralt, and then looped round back up through that boggy forest. That was a great one. I struggled that day. I was having a shit day. During some runs you do, and you're just like,
Yeah.
every climb I was blowing out of my fucking arse,
And
you
I
were
was
like,
feeling good.
and I was like,
had
he's
my
dropping,
snacks with
he's
me.
fucking dropping me again. He's gonna wind me up about it.
I had all my snacks that day. I was loving
Well,
it.
I got there early and did Caerphilly Mountain and Twin Lagoon. I can't think what the other one's called. It's the one that's not in the Denny.
Yeah.
But funny enough, we did that. We do that, and you do it in the Rhythm as well. You go just by there and cut down.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna hopefully lead one of the punch runs in the future. I'm gonna do
Round
Smilog.
Yeah.
because I've done a couple of routes around there,
That's just by here, that
and
is.
it's a playground for trail running. It's brilliant. But you can come out of the forest and go up towards like Man of the Gare. There's a couple of trig points up there. There's Cariad Rock with really good views of like Lanharan and Bridgend. I think you can see from there as well. Or Pencoed, I think. Really, really good spot for trail running. So I think I'm going to put them
There's
on
a
up there.
wicked descent that I want to show you that's not too far from here. Like,
Okay.
it'll be good training for your descents. Like, it's my favourite segment ever. It's just like pure downhill
Is it?
bits,
Are you the
like,
king of the
technical.
mountain on that descent?
I am, yes.
Of course you are.
And I was, I was drawing on it because I wanted to get it for a while because I was sort of top 10 since the first time I tried it because you know what I'm like, I just bomb it down.
Yeah.
And
Are you
I was,
one of
like,
them,
loving
right?
it.
Just imagine you're in like zone 1, plodding around your route, and then
Yeah,
have you got
Strava
this?
sniping?
Oh, that's bad. That is. But I got
I
a lot
love
of
it.
respect for it. Fair play to you. Have you got the countdown on your watch? Did you
Yeah.
know you can do that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've got it.
I've never
I've
seen
got
it.
it.
I've heard it. You know it, do you?
Yeah. So if you star the segments, if you've got it linked to your watch, then it comes up on your
Yeah.
watch and it'll tell you you're 50 meters from this, you're 20 meters from this. Go.
Yeah.
And then it's got the countdown and everything. Like, I love it. But on this segment, like, first time I did it, I was like top 10 and I was like, oh, this is a really nice segment for me. And then I was like, right, I'm going to save that, get the countdown and everything. And then I was like, right, next time I go, I'm gonna go for the win. And I got stuck. There's a gate and it's one of the gates where it's not just the thing you pull across. It's got that little metal clip thing where you pull it up and then pull it across.
Oh, okay.
And I forgot about pulling it
So
up.
you're
So I was
there,
trying to figure
all
it out.
flustered.
And like my watch is going and I'm like, fucking figured it
That's
out.
peak
get through.
Strava wanker that you're
Yeah,
getting anxiety
full-on
over a
Strava
watch.
wanker. Bolting it down then to try and make up for it. Fucking dog walkers on the path. And it's a proper thin path. And I was like, and like I had to slow down. Then they're like, oh, sorry. I was like, no, it's fine. Like went past them. Have a good
Just
day,
ruining my
guys. And
Kingham.
then just sprinting down. I came joint first. and I was like,
Oh,
fuck, like joint first isn't first.
it's not good enough, Will.
So then
Not for a Strava wanker.
I went back the other day and I've got it. I
You've
took
got
like
it.
25 seconds off.
Did you go and open the gate and keep it open to the bottom and then go back to the
I
top?
didn't, no.
Oh,
I wasn't
see,
that bad.
That's what I'll do to coming off you. I will. I think I don't go after segments. I've only done it once because John tried to get it off this guy and he got second. And I went 2 days later in Dennis and got it. I was blowing out of my arse. Going up through this forest. It was the closest I've been to Zone 5 in ages. Because obviously most of I run into now is pretty chilled. And I had to stop at the top of the hill and I was like gasping for air. Regretted it, but then when my run finished and like I was like, oh, do you know what, that was fun, but I don't do it like. I really want to go and do it to road runners now in the run club that have just hoofed me out.
I'll come down with you, mate. Do
you know what we should do when you come down next is we're going to look for some segments, and if they involve people in my old run club, we're going to fucking get them. One of us will get them.
Yeah.
Whether because I might die off and you'll go, or vice versa, probably the former. We'll start picking them off.
Yeah,
I've done enough trigs now. I think I'm on 270 summits now on Summit Bag, so like that can park that to one side.
My Get Triggered's just started, so I'm
Get
on
Triggered.
6. Well, I started this this
I
was
love
funny.
that.
So I started it off. I only did it on Strava, and I used to send it to you as well. And I was like, "Yeah, mate, look at me," and I was like dancing at the trigs. And then I posted the one that I did when I did that like trail marathon just for a laugh.
Yeah.
I ticked off 6
Just
trigs,
for a
and I was
laugh.
like, "I'm gonna make this a thing." Well, I wasn't planning on going that far that day. But that's another story.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, like tick them off, make this video, and I'll make it a thing. And on my memories, then it popped up that exactly a year ago that day was the first time I did the Get Triggered
Oh, okay.
on Strava. And I was like, I sent it to Joe, and I was like, this is such a coincidence that I tried this exactly a year ago. I did one episode.
That's the
and
universe
stopped.
telling you that's what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah. So then now I'm actually doing it as a thing. I'm taking off 4 trigs tomorrow on my run.
Will you go in?
I don't know the names of them.
Not the names of the trigs. Where you running about, like place wise?
I think it's the Ogmore Valley way.
Ogmore Valley. Which part of the Ogmore Valley?
So I'm starting up. There's like the Bulk Mountain viewpoint.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I
know
2 routes, but starting at different points.
I know the trigs you're doing because
Yeah.
I took John up last month and we did 20 miles and bagged 4 actual trigs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm only doing actual trigs.
Yeah.
Because I've got the map that Joe sent me.
Yeah, you're doing the
trigs.
ones that I did 4 weeks ago. There's one of them is broken.
Yeah.
It's like that big and it's all mashed up, but it's cool to see. But it looks like someone has just like smashed half of it. There's one then which is like really high
Okay.
because the ground is being dug either side of it. It's just like way over your head. It's weird.
That's going to be cool.
That's because that's near the ball viewpoint. And then there's a other couple the other side of the mountain. I can't think of their names, but yeah, I've done most of the Ronda now, I think. I'm more interested in the Summit Bag summits because the trigs are fun, but they're always on walkways. The Summit Bag summits are not always on walkways; they're always in fucking really dodgy places. Hence why the whole risky trigs thing. Then most of the time they're not actual trig points, is the irony. But risky summits doesn't sound as good as risky trigs, does it?
No, not the same ring to it.
What haven't we covered? Well,
you got your celebration things you wanted to go
yeah,
over.
I'm going to quickly celebrate this because I never did as a kid. This was my... So, you talked about 100 metres earlier, right? And there's a lot of things I see on the internet, like what's more impressive, or what's harder, what's more impressive, and there's loads of thing at the moment where I'm like 147 versus a hole-in-one versus a 9-darter in darts. And then in running, you've got like what's harder, a fast 5k or a 50k and all that stuff. I still think the peak of like athleticism and athletics and running is still the 100 metre sprint.
I'm not with you on that.
No, but that's just my opinion,
Yeah.
right? And I'm the guest, so this is my opinion now, right? And
It suits your agenda, clearly.
no, because I've raced because I did
You've done
athletics.
everything.
I've raced every distance you can in a decent all right, level. From 100 metres all the way to 100 miles. So I would say I'm pretty good broad
You're
experience
well-versed.
to have that opinion, but I still think the 100 metres is like the peak and the hardest to be good at, because the margins are so small for a big difference.
Yeah.
But if you run 100 miles, you can run 100 miles in 38 hours, you could run 100 miles in 24 hours, and everyone just like, fair play, you've run 100 miles. You do 100 metres, it's about your time, and it what's your time. It's not like you can just run 100 metres.
Saying that, I don't think most people would care about 100-metre time. Marathon time, half marathon time.
In school, I would disagree. So when you're in school, because I didn't have much to go on, because I just didn't have much worth and stuff like that. I was, however, the fastest in my year. So I'm going to shout myself out for year 5 and year 6, Mikey J, right? So this is first place in year 5. Give me a clap. Thanks, mate. And this is first place in year 6 for 100 metres and 200 metres. So for anyone that didn't believe me that I could run 100 metres, because someone was like, they've seen me run, they're like, there's no way that guy's fast.
Oh, mate, we've had some sprint offs, me and you.
You haven't had a sprint off with me yet, mate.
We did the one up on the Punks.
I wasn't sprinting up there. We're just running up a hill.
No, because you was like, let's race to the top of this. I was like, go on then.
I didn't say that, did
Yes,
I?
you did.
Anyway, that's
You beat me, mind, but
anyway, right. So I've always got 100 metres in me, and I did. The reason I'm bringing it up as well is because I did some 100-metre sprints this year, and I haven't done them for fucking ages. And they were around about 12 seconds, just over 12. So I was fucking buzzing with that, considering I got a knackered hip, and I'm closing in on 40, and I've got 2 kids. I think I was pretty happy with that. So it's nice to know that I can still move. It just bloody hurts.
I'd love to know my 100-metre time. I should probably test
100 metres, I think, is the pinnacle. I do. And that's ironic from someone that does... It was probably... I rate fast 5Ks. I get it. And you're in the hurt locker for 20 minutes, or if you're fast, 13 minutes. The person who does a 5K in 20 minutes is hurt longer than the fast person who does it in 13, mind.
Yeah.
They have the same pain. And the person who does 30 minutes and has the same pain has had a harder 5K in theory.
Right, I think you'll like this discussion then. You take someone that's good at sprints, 100 metres, 200 metres. You take someone that's good at marathons. At what point does like that sort of take over on like who's winning what?
600
Because like
metres.
I think like Kipchoge, you take him down at the pace he's running... 800 metres, he's smashing Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt would lead up to about 500, 600 metres. And then Usain Bolt would be like, I'm fucking done. And then that's where I think it would be.
Yeah.
It's got to be between 400 and 800 metres from a sprinter.
But like that's why I find a good marathon runner so impressive. Because the pace they're keeping up for a marathon will beat most people's 5K times. And it's like, what?
Yeah. It's that's why it's really hard as well to compare, because you're kind of comparing chalk and cheese, aren't you? Because they are different. Body composition's different.
Yeah, but then this is why I think like you look at the ultra like elite marathon runners, and they just do so well over such a broad range of distances, and that's why I'm like
Jim
they are
Walmsley,
elite.
who is regarded as probably the best ultra runner at the moment in the world. Like, he's been beating Kylian Jornet and stuff. So Jornet's bound to come second in these races. Joy's 5k PB is. Bear in mind, this guy runs 100 miles now, and that's his thing.
It's probably like 15 minutes.
13 minutes. So I've seen this thing online of these marathon runners, and I've got massive respect for them. Like, I used to be one. Like, I've done it all. So I can come from experience, because I've done so many marathons on the road and that stuff. And they were like, a fast marathon time is more impressive than a fast 100-mile time. And I'm like, Jim Walmsley's faster than loads of elite 5k runners. But he can also do a 14-hour, 100, whatever he does, 100-miler. A fast 100-miler at like 14 hours, for me, that's absolutely mind-boggling. But still, for me, a sub 10-second 100 metres is like the pinnacle to me.
I think this is where like the opinion you just said of people being like, oh yeah, like a fast marathon's better than the 100 mile. The amount of people that do the 100 milers is so small that to do well in it, you don't have to be like as fast as that individual.
Yeah.
So like
That's
the
very true.
very, very elite, like they're doing like the very smallest amount of races. It's not like Courtney's gonna come down and do a Epona. So it's like
Courtney, you're missing out. It's a great route.
great run, Courtney.
You'll hate the Blorange.
But you know what I mean? So like the top level of ultra runners aren't going to be doing like all the events that we're doing, so it's like really hard to compare.
Yeah.
Whereas like there's going to be more elite marathoners, so like seeing their times more consistently, and then because there's more elite ones, then there's more non-elite ones, so the time spectrum's so much broader.
Yeah, like running more people have run a sub 3 hour marathon than people have attempted 100 miles, for example, because that's how big road running is. Oh, that's a difficult one to get, sub 3. Yeah.
And even that, when you compare sub 3 marathon compared to like people that have like run a 5k, like that is like a massive difference. And then you compare that to people that don't even run, and it's like that's majority of the population. It's just like mental to think.
There was stats released. Obviously, London Marathon was a couple of weeks ago. So there was someone shared online. They reckon now. They reckon 40% of Brits run now. So 4 in 10. That's quite a lot now.
They still think that it's like less than 3% of people have completed a marathon.
Yeah, it used to be 1%.
Yeah,
It used to be called the 1% club.
well, it's less than 3% in like countries like ours.
Yeah.
When you take it to like third world countries and stuff, then it drops to 1%.
Yeah.
But like you're looking at like 3 to 5% for like UK, America, things like that.
But if you notice now as well, is when I was younger, the marathon was the epitome. Now, that loads of people do marathons now, they're not seen in the same way because so many people do them. There's talking that the 100 mile now is becoming the new
Well, you say
fucking
that.
marathon. As in, more people now are like, right, they want to do more because so many people doing these things.
I don't think more. Well, there's obviously like an increase in people doing the marathon, but I don't think it's as big as we think. But we're in that world.
Yeah.
But also, it's more popular on social media, so you're seeing of more people.
But
if you go around,
but physically
your
more
local
people are.
community-
There's
yeah,
more
but
marathon
not
events.
massively.
But yeah.
It's not like a massive increase in runners. It's just more like widespread. Like you see it more online. There's more coverage of it.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you go around here and ask how many people have done a marathon, it's going to be hardly any.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think you get sucked into algorithms, and if you're always looking at certain topics online, you're going to get all that.
I've always said about
The
like
feed,
the positive echo chamber. I've said it on the podcast so many times of like I had like this realization of like marathons are still hard because I was talking to my clients and like they were like, yeah, like I don't actually know anyone that's run a marathon, let alone an ultra, other than you. And then I was like, what, really? Because like in my world, I know you've run 100 miles. I know Nathan Hutton, who's won a 200-mile race.
Yeah.
I hang out with Lee, who runs ultras all the time. And like I'm surrounded by you guys, so in my head, that's normal. Ultras are normal and so achievable.
But they're not normal in the when you zoom out and look at the whole life as a whole. Not many people are doing those type of things, I guess.
But it's that positive echo chamber. I've surrounded myself with people that are into the things that I'm into, so that's my normal. Like, but that can also be the downside, because then when you're surrounding yourself with loads of people, you start comparing yourself, and then you're like. But I like that. That's the thing. That's why I call it the positive echo chamber, because I was actually talking to Jess, one of my clients, in the car coming back from the thing about this, because she was like, yeah, like I used to think that you were like nuts because of the stuff that you do, but I've just been speaking to Lee, and she was like, I get it now, of like why you'll
always have much. Someone that you're looking up to and thinking.
And then I was like, wait till you listen to Bob. Like Bob's insane.
Yeah.
And but because I know you lot and I do the podcast and I get to meet you all, I wouldn't be doing the 6 in 6 if I hadn't met you. Not just for the fact that you brought it up and like gave me the idea.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have even thought that to have been possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have seen the Pegasus Slam to have been possible because before I met you, I had done 2 ultras and I'd been absolutely broken from both of them and I could barely walk. So the idea of doing 6 in 6 days, I'd have been like, you're nuts. Like, I would have been one of those people being like, you're crazy thinking that, like,
Yeah.
I could do that. But because I've surrounded myself with you and I'm like, well, Bob's just cycled 12 days back from Italy. Lee's doing Dragons back. Nathan's winning 200-mile races. You're doing a 200-mile race. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, I could do like 220 miles over 6 days because bloody, like, Nathan did it in what, 2 days? You're going to do it over like 3-4 days? Like,
I'd snap your hand off for 3 or 4 days, mate. I just want to get it
what I
done.
mean?
Yeah.
So, like, it makes me realise that I can do more.
Yeah.
And that is such a positive thing because, like, there's people that look up to me and I'm like, mate, wait till you meet my mates. Honestly, that's why I love doing, like, the Adventure Athlete days, and I'd wish, like, more people from the podcast would come down because I'm like, I want the people that I coach and that know me for being this inspirational person to meet other people like me. So then they will look at me and be like, yeah, like, I see why you get into it and I see what's possible now and you're not crazy. I think that's the reason why people call us crazy. They haven't been exposed to it enough.
It's mad because I feel like I've like, even being invited onto a podcast in the first place, I'm like, why the fuck am I on a podcast? Like, I'm just so normal. Do you know what I mean? I got 2 kids.
You're the most listened to podcast guest.
I probably shared it more than anyone. That's my problem. But yeah, and I think probably leads nicely on to the probably the last topic really is what's coming up in a couple of weeks. Because I'm having jitters now thinking about it. Like yesterday I was really fired up and ready. Now today I'm like, oh for fuck's sake, 200 miles. It's going to be more. It's probably going to be 210. And yeah, I had the phone call from Reese for Wildhorse, and you've heard the phone call because you would have had it a couple of times when you've had it at Ridham.
I had it at Ridham, yeah.
Yeah, and I got his obviously I know Reese and I got his number saved. Reese Jenkins is ringing me. Oh, here we go. This is the call now. And to be fair to Reese, he puts you at ease when he speaks to you, but it's different with his 200 because it's going into the unknown, and I feel like I'm going into war. I don't feel like I normally do, so. Even a pony a little bit, I was positive, even though I had COVID and stuff going into it. I was still like, yes, it's just going to be a couple of days max. I'll suffer through it and I'll be happy and I'll get my buckle and stuff. I'm not so cheery about the Wildhorse. I'm genuinely petrified, but then that's fucking good, right? Like, that's why I should be doing it, because it's the next thing that's going to scare the fuck out of me. But don't expect jolly Jenks. Because I just can't see where Jolly Jenks is coming from for this event. If I can be jolly, I will. But I'm finding it hard to think in my head how I can get to that place right now. Because
I think once you're out there, you're going to have your dark moments. Like you said on the prom, like, there were moments where you were dark. But the whole aura about you is positive, and that you'll go out there and you'll be like, I'm loving this at points.
Yeah.
And
there will be.
It's you're going to be yourself.
You gotta. So what I find with these things, and what I've learned from both Prom and Epona and other big ones like the Edam, for example, and the long training days, is you've got to pick moments of joy where you can. It might be that you see a dog and you want to pet the dog. Honestly, it's something as little as that, or a bit of watermelon, or you see him, like, whenever I see Sugarloaf, I just get this nice feeling because I love the shape of it. I know it sounds really geeky, but it gives me joy. Like, I love it. So I will try and find joy where I can. This is the thing with ultra running. So I've had a load of questions over the years. What's harder? Because I've done loads of road marathons. I've done shitloads of ultras now. I'm coming up to like 30 races now. What's harder, a road marathon or an ultra? I'm like, well, an ultra's harder if you race an ultra and you really fucking push it. Because you're just in the fucking pain cave for ages, for hours, and you've got all the elevation. But 100 milers, it's like you go into a different dimension. The amount of times you go to hell, and then out of hell, and then back in. with a road marathon, you go to hell once, you're in hell, and then the race is finished. In an ultra, I find you go in and out multiple times. It's like you're visiting multiple times. It's such a fucking head fuck. Because you'll have 10 minutes, you'll know what it's like. You have 10 minutes where you feel great, and you're like, oh, I can push here. And then you'll have 10 minutes like, I fucking don't want to do this anymore. You'd have had it at the Hateful Eight, because you would do, you had it. You definitely did.
I did.
Towards the end.
No, I was being chased, man.
Yeah, but you would have been in the Hurt Locker a little bit. Come on.
No, I was in the Hurt Locker from like the 50K.
Yeah, but you would have come in and out of it, wouldn't you?
No, I stayed in it.
Did you?
You saw me when I got back after lap 4,
Oh,
and everyone
God.
was like, "You don't look good." Like people told me, like, "You're looking a bit pale, bit rough around the edges there, Will." And I was like, "Yeah,
You
no,
did
I
really
don't
well.
feel great."
I was really proud of you.
And then
that
I was
day.
like, oh, I'll do another lap. And then everyone, the next time, like, you lot saw me, I was sprinting in, and everyone's like, bloody hell, he's perked up.
Yeah,
and I
fucking
was like,
Luke's just behind you.
Yeah, Luke's coming, is he behind me? I
Imagine
can't see him.
being an ultra. I love Luke, right? Imagine being an ultra. Imagine being chased by someone, and it happens to be the loveliest man in running. Because Luke Merritt is the number one nicest guy I've ever met in my life. I think I've met some lovely people. He's got to be up there.
He
has to be. He's such a nice guy. Do you want to talk to earlier about people being humble? He is humble because he is. He doesn't have to like fake it and come across like he's just naturally really such a nice guy. So with Wildhorse, I know I'm going to go to hell, but I know I'm going to come out of it. It's about how you can accept when you're in that bad place that you're going to come back out of it. It's really hard because obviously it's going to happen so many times and so many days, and I'm going to want to quit and so many times. I know it, but I'm also fired up and looking forward to it. But definitely think the more Goggins style of me is going to be out during that race, because I think I'm going to need to up that side a little bit and just grunt and be a bit more fucking get on with it kind of thing. Death before DNF, that's my mantra. Death
or PR.
I will fucking die before I quit. I'm fucking telling you that. This can be one of your snippets, right? There's gonna be loads of fucks in it, but I will fucking die before I quit in that race. I'll have to have broken bones and be forced off that route before I quit, because I'm going to get that fucking buckle. and then ironically I'll not be able to move for fucking weeks. This is also the first time I feel like I've got nothing planned after. Like I've got some time off, like a few days off work. I think I got like 3 days off work, but I'm working from home when I am back, so I don't have to leave the flat. But I've got no plans after from a running perspective. I might retire. I might become like, I might go play snooker. I don't know, something a bit, less like heavy on the body,
As long as you still come to the punks runs, I'll be happy. Can't lose you
just
from
come
running
with a snooker
completely.
cue. Just because we said last year, didn't we? One of the things was, what are you going to do after a Prom? And I was like, I want to give back. And then I thought, like, kind of doing the Prom and raising a couple of grand for Big Moose and doing Risky Trigs runs, and I've got people this year did their first ultras that I kind of guided them into. So I definitely feel like I've given some stuff back, and I think helping Luca now do some stuff like starting tomorrow. So I committed to that in the podcast session. I feel like I'm ticking that off now. I am giving back to the community that's given me so much. But I don't know. I still don't know what I'm going to do after. I don't know whether this 200 thing. I might end up loving this 200 and think, well, this is my thing now. These they are multi-day, but they're not. They're all in one go. But these really long races might be the thing for me. I asked Reese about Sirona in August, because I was thinking, well, if I come out of Wildhorse healthy, which would be really good. A goal is to finish the race, and if I'm not healthy, i.e. I'm broken, then I'll accept it. But if I can come out and I can move and stuff, and I think, well, I've already got the legs for 100, so I might do Sirona, because then at least I've done all their events. And Pegasus doing 1,000 mile buckle now, aren't they?
Yep.
And after this year, I'll be on 550.
Only 450 to go, mate.
Yeah, but then I'm just thinking, if I can just tick these off one by one, and then you never know. And then I want to do the backyard next year, but I want to do it balls out, not literal balls out. I'm not gonna, you don't want
running around with just your balls out.
Yeah, no one needs to see that, right? But I want to
Balls
do
out in sense of Will's fast lap balls out, or
no,
just
no.
going for the thing.
My tactics work a fucking treat. Well,
Yeah.
so the same tactics, because I 100% could have carried on in that backyard that we did. And I was really proud of the fact that I stopped when I said I was going to stop and to save the legs, which has worked well because Howell went really well last week and stuff. So the training has worked well, and that was a great event. But I really want to go back and give it, give it everything and see what I'm actually see where I quit.
Yeah.
Because it's not happened yet. I know technically I have a DNF by not carrying on in the backyard, but I need it to be, I can't carry on anymore. And when I did Epona and I had COVID, it was I didn't sleep. I 38 hours I was moving for pretty much. So I know I can kind of function for that long because I've done it before, but it's what can I function? Can I move at 14 minutes per mile after a certain amount? Yeah, I don't know yet because I've never tried it. So maybe that's what comes next after Wildhorse.
Nice.
Let's get Wildhorse out the fucking way. Death before DNF.
Smashing it, mate. Well, yeah. You're doing so much, and I don't think you give yourself enough credit either for the things that you are achieving. Being like, oh yeah, like I'm not a good runner. You're doing a 200-mile race. Like, I know you're not racing the 200 miles, but
Yes, I am.
oh, okay, yeah, you are.
I'm racing against hallucinations, and ideally, I just want to get it done before Sunday night. I don't want any prep. Like Sunday night is the last night. You go till 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to be chasing cut off the end time. Do you know what I mean? I want to just it'd be nice to cross the finish line in the light with some sun, and soak up some sort of atmosphere and touch the gate and probably cry. But I visualise the finish, which is always good. If you can visualise it, generally you're halfway there. I find.
Yeah.
It's just fucking getting there.
It's almost time, mate. It's almost go time.
Don't remind me. I got paranoia now. I've got aches and pains everywhere.
Yeah.
Like pain in my knee. I've got like plantar pain in the bottom of my foot. I haven't had that pain since I was a road runner. But it's my body being like, right, you're on taper now. We're gonna make you feel like absolute shit. And that's my other worry is after these events, you always have a dip. I don't know if do you struggle with them. Yeah, just having the.
I'm the worst for it, mate.
Yeah,
You know this.
Post-event dip, like it's a thing, and if I got any advice from people starting ultras, is the ultra doesn't finish when you finish the race. It finishes a few weeks later because that's ultimately sometimes it gets really tough, like a few weeks after, because it's like, there's no pats on the backs anymore. There's no, like it's done. Like all that training and it's gone. So it can be quite hard. So I do worry after Wildhorse. I'll just be a miserable fucker for weeks. But I've got more experience of it now, so I'm hoping that helps.
We'll organise some bits. You'll be coming back on the podcast. So.
Oh, mate, talk about people unsubscribing.
You're the most listened to, mate. I've got to bring you back as many times as I can.
It'd be good. We were toying with this. I was like, shall I come back? Shall I just come on after Wildhorse? But then you're talking an 8-hour episode. Because I'm bound to come. Like, I think what I'm looking forward to the most, to be honest, is having a story. Like Epona for me was like such an adventure. Wildhorse is going to be wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm 100% going to hallucinate. You can't avoid this. There's so many nights. I'm going to be like, I'm in a group chat with the guys in Wildhorse. And it's been amazing. It's been my favourite runner group chat ever because it's been quite quiet up until like a week ago, and everyone's having the calls now, and they're just the most normal people ever. Like Chris is on about bringing his tattoo gun in his drop bag, and we're on about having tattoos during the Wildhorse. But then that means you've got to be together, and we might not be. But I said I'm 100% at a checkpoint up for you doing a small tattoo. It'd be fucking hilarious, especially if we're both off our tits. And not from anything illegal, from natural hallucinating experiences. And me and Lee Garden, I don't think you know Lee, where he used to love like old school garage music, and I did as well. So we were talking about, if we get to the boulder fields together, we're going to have a rave around like a rock and stuff. That'll be fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to creating a new story for myself and to be able to share, and it'd be good to come back on and obviously talk about it.
Yeah.
And then get ripped for talking about Wildhorse for months. But I will dine out on my what I perceive as success, because I never, like I said earlier, I didn't have that chance as a child, and I'm gonna hopefully do my son and my daughter proud and bring home the bacon so he can go to school and say, my dad did 200 miles, and they still won't believe him.
And then we'll get them to subscribe to the podcast. No, they'll be too young.
Luca has already subscribed to your podcast, by the way, on his YouTube.
Oh, wicked.
Yes.
Wicked.
So there you go.
Shout out Luca.
My seed.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, mate.
Sorry for taking. I don't even know how long we were, but it was a long one.
Always is. I expect it, mate. I enjoy it.
I love
So
it.
yeah.
Sometimes I forget the camera's there. It's just like we're having a chat in it.
Yeah. Right. Nice one.
Cheers, dude.
Now, I think it's pretty fitting that this week's episode comes out on Mental Health Awareness Week. Just the sort of topics that me and Mike talk about in the podcast, I think is very fitting to this week. And it's also why I'm wearing my Sport in Mind top today, because I'm trying to fundraise £6,069 for Sport in Mind through doing my 6 in 6 challenge. Now, I chose 6,069 as my fundraising target because it's £1 for every person that unfortunately lost their life to suicide last year across the UK. And I'm doing it for Sport in Mind because they're doing amazing things, helping people use sport to improve their mental health. And it's something that I get behind. It's what I live by. It's a big part of what Adventure Athletes tries to do, is help people through challenging situations using sport and using that as our vehicle to help improve people's mental health. So I'm doing my 6 in 6 challenge. So I'm going to be running the Pegasus Slam, so 6 different ultra marathons across Wales in 6 days, back-to-back days, whereas the Slam would usually be across 6 months. Like I said, I'm doing it to raise money for Sport in Mind, but everything I've done this year so far is all building towards that. So I've run 4 ultras this year already. I've done a High Rocks. I've got a couple more ultras coming up before the 6 in 6. And just, yeah, all the things that you see me doing on a weekly basis is all building up to this one big challenge. So if you'd like to donate, I'll leave the link in the description below. But thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.